Recovery today.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
Let's go!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City.
Finally!
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig live on 97.3 ESPN. We are back with an edition of Hanging with Hennig following the locker room with Philly Schwein on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, we are live as always in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. What's going on, everybody? Oh, boy. You know, the Phillies losing again last night really kind of messes up your sleep pattern, does it not? Isn't there a part of you that looks at the Phillies when they lose a game like they did last night, and you're kind of like, come on, guys. Come on. We got a lot to get to here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. And we are live as always on my YouTube and X platforms at Josh Hennig. Let's get into the show today. Got a busy lineup coming up in about 25 minutes from now. Matt Gell from The Athletic will join us talking about the Phillies as he is out there with the team in San Diego on this road trip. Another loss for the Phillies in a game they could have won. Plus, ESPN's 50 States in 50 Days. If you haven't seen on SportsCenter, they've been going to a different state every day. Today they are in New Jersey. Ryan Smith, ESPN SportsCenter anchor, legal analyst, and Eagles fan. He will join us coming up at 1:25. And then Boxing Insider Promotions presents the boxing event of the summer season coming on Friday, July 25th. Tropicana Showroom in Atlantic City. 3 New Jersey fighters, 2 Philadelphia fighters, and the WBC belt on the line. And joining us coming up at 2:25 will be Diane Butt. He is one of the 2 Philadelphia fighters, rising star in the boxing ranks, 20-2 record. He will join us coming up at 2:25. And by the way, Diane Butt is also a Temple alumni. So for all of you Temple Owl people out there, you know who you are. One of yours is coming up on 97.3 ESPN. As always, you guys join the conversation, 609-403-0973, 609-403-0973. Listen, I know I shouldn't be disappointed when the Phillies don't do well. I know I shouldn't be regretful, fretting, blah, blah, blah. But I got to tell you guys, I'm very frustrated with this team. I'm getting to the point where I don't even know if I can enjoy this team sometimes anymore. I'm getting to the point where when I watch the Phillies play, it's like you're dreading what's going to happen. You're constantly having this attitude of, well, what's going to go wrong this time? Which is weird because this is a team that is 14 games over 500. You would think that you would look at the Phillies and say, you know what? They're a good team. But you can't do that. Because again, this team is mired in another sloppy stretch of games. Go back to when we had all the good vibes. Sunday Night Baseball, June 22nd. Phillies win the game. They're in charge in the NL East. They take out the rival Mets. Then they lost 3 straight games to the Astros. Only scored 1 run. Then they go to Atlanta and score 13 on Friday. Score 1 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Then they come back home. Okay, maybe it's a road trip. Maybe they got the road trip issue. They come home. They start scoring a few more runs. You're like, all right, well, if you're scoring 4 to 5 runs a game, maybe the offense is coming around. And then you win 2 out of 3 against the Padres. And then you win 2 out of 3 against the Reds. And then you go to San Francisco and you lose 2 games that you theoretically should have won. You score 1 run in one of them, 3 in the next. But you scored 13 on Wednesday. You get a day off. Apparently, the day off cooled you off because now you lose 4-2 to the Padres. This team's inconsistency is becoming absolutely exhausting. They need to add both a bat and an arm at the deadline, not one or the other, both. And I was reading Matt Gelb's article in The Athletic, and Matt will join us coming up in less than 20 minutes from now. One of the things Matt points out in the article is that the Phillies in past years were reticent, they were apprehensive, they were not looking to get rid of their top prospects. And now they're at least considering it. I know part of the reason why Dave Dombrowski was brought in to replace Matt Klentak was to rebuild the farm system, to make sure there is a future for the Philadelphia Phillies organization. But at the end of the day, that future is meaningless if you, the Phillies, don't have a present to build on. This team has regressed. 2022, World Series. 2023, National League Championship Series. 2024, National League Division Series. This team is currently constructed. I've been saying this for months on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Josh Hennig live in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios on the X platform and on YouTube at Josh Hennig at 973 ESPN. I've been saying this for months. This is a poorly constructed roster. There is no scenario where this team, as it is currently constructed, should be this inconsistent. Earlier this week at 97.3 ESPN.com, I wrote the article about Jeff Passan, ESPN MLB Insiders Report. And there's plenty of these reports out there that the Phillies are looking around at their options. One of the options proposed, Emmanuel Clase, the closer for the Guardians, Cleveland Guardians, former Cleveland Indians, now the Cleveland Guardians. Try to remember that. It's like Washington. Are they the Commanders? Are they the football team? Who knows? Stephen Kwan would be a major upgrade over everyone who plays outfield for you right now. So would Emmanuel Clase in the bullpen. Major upgrade. You're going to go big game hunting. You can call the Red Sox. Go get Aroldis Chapman and go get Jared Duran. Now, the problem with Duran and Kwan is that they're both left-handed hitters. So what you're basically doing is you're going to be looking at Brandon Marsh and Max Kepler and say we are replacing them. And I totally get that. And I'm totally fine with that. Now, does it solve all the Phillies' problems? No. But Duran and Kwan are two players who do give you something you don't have. In Kwan, you get arguably one of the most dependable, reliable hitters in all of baseball. And in Duran, you get a major upgrade for a young player who's going to be either entering his prime or will be approaching his prime years very soon. Because right now, when you get Max Kepler and when you get Brandon Marsh coming to the plate, There's never a point in time where you're like, all right, guys, here we go. You don't get excited. You're like, all right, how are they going to mess this up now? And that's part of the problem with all of this. You cannot be a doom and gloom team for your fans. I don't care how much money Dave Dombrowski has spent and the Phillies have spent. I don't care what the Phillies think. Oh, we have a lot of talent. Talent don't mean nothing unless you are going to go out there and improve the team that you have. You must upgrade. You must improve. You have to do something to make this team better. Now, part of the problem with all of this conversation, as Jim Bowden pointed out, Jim Bowden, former Major League Baseball general manager and current MLB insider for CBS Sports, he has pointed out numerous times that part of the problem in baseball right now is there's way, way, way too many teams that are still within range to make the postseason. That's why he said on the Foul Territory YouTube channel, there are 8 teams that are definitely selling at the MLB Trade Deadline. Take a listen.
So right now we have 8 teams that are selling as of this minute at the deadline. Atlanta is one of them, with Washington, Miami, Pittsburgh, Colorado, Baltimore, the White Sox, and the Athletics. They're the only 8 teams right now that aren't within reach that will listen to certain players. Now with Atlanta, they're not going to do a rebuild. They're not even going to do a reboot.
So think about that. He mentioned those teams. Well, you're not trading with the Braves because the Braves aren't going to trade anybody of value in the division. Same thing with the Nationals. Pirates, they got Bedard, the left-handed closer. But is that enough of an upgrade for your bullpen? He is an upgrade, maybe not the upgrade. Rockies don't have anybody of consequence you really want. Marlins, again, in your division. Go to the American League. White Sox. Don't have anybody you want. Athletics. Mason Miller. That might be interesting. But how much are you willing to give up for Mason Miller? Then you have the Orioles predicament. And as Fox Sports MLB insider Ken Rosenthal pointed out, also from The Athletic Ken Rosenthal, he says the Orioles, they're not in full selling mode. Take a listen.
The Orioles as the most disappointing team in recent memory because of that young core of position players that is so promising and remains so promising. They plan to compete in 2026. So while they might not be able to address their needs at the deadline, because generally prospect-made trades are made at the deadline, they can amass more talent, do some more things in the offseason perhaps, and then build on what they have with that young core. They've also got Felix Bautista, closer, 2 more years under club control. I don't expect that they're going to trade him simply because they want to compete going forward.
So if the Orioles are not giving up on Bautista, what do you really want from the Orioles? I mean, Ryan O'Hearn's an upgrade over Max Kepler. He's a name that's been thrown out there. But nobody on the Orioles really excites you. We're going to bring back Sir Anthony Dominguez? Come on. So the problem right now is that a lot of the teams that are out there that are willing to make trades don't really have the pieces the Phillies want. And that's part of the reason why when Matt Gelb joined us coming up in about 10 minutes here on 97.3 ESPN, Matt Gelb from The Athletic wrote that very insightful article about the Phillies, kind of like how they're viewing the deadline. The reason why the Phillies are looking at it and saying, we're going to have to go all in on this deadline is because the reality has been presented to them that they're not going to be able to just get by. The reality has been presented to the Phillies that as they are currently constructed, I think they are coming to the realization that they made some mistake this offseason. They have to rectify those. And in order to rectify those, you got to look at the entire prospect pool. Now, every report out there says that they don't want to trade Painter, Miller, Abel or Crawford. But if the right deal presented itself, they would. So that's kind of where the rub is. If Andrew Painter is supposed to be to the Phillies organization one day, what Paul Skeens is to the Pirates, or what Burns is for the Reds, right? These elite young pitchers, Mizikowski, the Brewers' young pitcher, right? If Painter is supposed to eventually become that guy, what are you willing to trade for him? Because, for example, if you're trading Andrew Miller, you're not going and getting Aroldis Chapman. You need much more than that. But is Mason Miller that guy? Maybe. Mick Abel is interesting because I think that Mick Abel is a beauty in the eye of the beholder situation. Justin Crawford, good young player, but has limitations. Not a big power bat. Not a big guy who's going to drive in tons of runs, but he's an on-base guy. He's a very great athlete. He's a major upgrade over Johan Rojas, but he's left-handed. So then if he came up, he had to replace somebody. Are you willing to trade him for a guy like Stephen Kwan, who's in the prime of his career? Kwan, who is a 3-time Gold Glove winner and an All-Star. And then you got the younger prospects like your Aaron Escobars, your Eduardo Taits, the guys who don't have a clear path to the major leagues. Can those guys get a deal done? Because to me, whatever the Phillies do for the rest of this weekend, it all comes down to what they do at the deadline. The deadline is going to make or break the future of this team. We'll get to some text messages before we hit the break. 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See how we're also live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Shout out to Jeff in Summers Point. He's watching the YouTube stream. Glad you enjoyed the Joe Conklin show. Yeah, with Sports Bash Mike Gill. We gave away for the Stump the Sports Geek this past week tickets to go see Joe Conklin show down in Wildwood. So I'm glad Jeff from Summers Point got to enjoy that. I've heard a lot of good reviews about that event last night. So glad you got to enjoy it, Jeff. Yeah, I know Jeff is, cheers to Jeff. He's drinking Bud Lights and Fireballs. That's his go-to. So I'm very well aware of Jeff and Summers Point's drinking preferences. Also, shout out to Andrew in Delaware. Says he's glad to be listening to the show. He says, fly, Eagles, fly. Go Phillies and go Sixers. Thank you, Andrew in Delaware. Appreciate you joining us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Steven Ventnor chimes in at 609-403-0973 on the text board. He says, Josh, the Phillies need to be all in. If we can't get a guy like Buxton, one of their top relief pitchers, we need to go get a guy by trading. I'm misreading this. So he says, if we can't get Buxton and one of the Twins' top relievers with a package headline by Abel and Escobar, I'd swap in Painter to take Abel out and just ask for all three. Well, as I said, the problem is that the Twins are not a clear seller right now, number one. They're 3.5 games out of the wild card. Anyone who's 4 games or under, I think they still think they're in chance for the postseason. I'm also not a fan of Buxton. I've said this numerous times to Mike Gill on the Sports Bash show on 97.3 ESPN. I do not want damaged goods. I have zero interest in a player who's almost never healthy. Let me somebody else's problem. Stephen Ventnor goes on to say, I think a top 20 prospect is not to get a Aroldis Chapman from the Red Sox. If you can get some high leverage relievers and a better center fielder, you can trade the prospects and maybe include Rojas. Yeah, Rojas is the guy who's been named by some people in certain deals. And I totally get what you're saying, Steve. You have to be willing. You got to trade something to get something, right? It's the idea that you got to be willing to give up. And I know Rincon is the guy's name. I think Escobar is probably the more appealing guy than Rincon is. I think Rincon is If you were to make a deal with it, so really quick before the break, everything that I've heard and read, people explain it this way. For a team like the A's, the Rockies, Rockies, let me look who else is on here. Marlins, Pirates, like those are the kind of teams, if you have a AAA player that can come up to the big league soon, they'll take one of the Rincones, the Justin Crawfords. They would love to have those guys. Maybe even a Mercado. But if you're talking about a team like the Red Sox, a team like the Cleveland Guardians, the Orioles, they want a higher quality caliber of prospect. And that's why I'm excited to talk to Matt Gelb from The Athletic coming up next here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. And see how keep the text coming in at 609-403-0973. But coming up on the other side, Matt Gelb from The Athletic about the state of the Phillies as we are counting down the weeks, just a couple weeks away from the MLB Trade Deadline. You're hanging out with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
Monday on ESPN Radio. Sends a rocket, and he vaporized that baseball. 8 players. Home run, second deck. 3 rounds. Back. 1 home run derby champion. The 2025 T-Mobile Home Run Derby. Live from Atlanta, Georgia. Coverage begins Monday at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Listen to Major League Baseball all season on 97.3 ESPN.
Your go-to spot at the Jersey Shore to watch sports is also the Can't Miss Summertime Hangout for live music and great times in South Jersey. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora features The Yard, with an outside bar, TVs, and live music on stage every weekend. So bring your friends to cheer on your favorite team, watch the sunset on the back deck, and make new summer memories in The Yard. You can do it all at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to learn about upcoming events and specials all summer long at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, ClemicPerformanceMethod.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at Walmart.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Life's unpredictable and full of unknowns, but your vehicle shouldn't be. No one wants to face an unexpected repair that could derail their plans and budget. That's why we're introducing CarShield, the ultimate way to future-proof your ride. We're not just about fixing problems, we're about preventing financial surprises. You can get a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan designed to save you from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine driving with complete peace of mind, knowing that if something goes wrong, you'll pay almost nothing for covered repairs. Included in every plan is free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. This protection plan is at an all-time low, making it accessible to any driver. Don't wait for a breakdown to realize you need coverage. Invest in the future of your vehicle and your wallet today. Call CarShield now for your free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. Future-proof your ride. Call CarShield now. 800-923-6829. 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
The construction reduction sales event continues at Matt Black Kia. Right now, get $3,000 over book value for your trade with the purchase of any new Kia. Stuck in a loan or lease? Matt Black Kia wants to get you released no matter what you owe. Plus, for a limited time, put $0 down and get 1.9% financing for 60 months on every clearly marked Kia in stock. Have a job clearing $450 a week? Then Matt Black Kia wants to get you approved today. And with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy, you simply can't make a mistake at mattblackkia.com. It's gotta be a Matt Black Kia. Call 215-703-8526 for details.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
You blitz all night!
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
We'll get back to the text board in just a bit on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget tonight's Phillies game. It is on Fox TV, a national game, 7:35 Eastern is the first pitch. And, of course, where you want to go to watch all the Phillies games is my friends over at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora. Don't forget they have the yard for all the live action, the entertainment outside, or you want to go inside and hear the game broadcast, which I know some people love to hear the game broadcast. I feel like Nick Earnshaw is a game broadcast guy. I feel like Nick Earnshaw gave me the thumbs up, so he's telling me yes, he is. Hey, Billy, are you a game broadcast guy? Yes or no? Just give me yes or no. You don't care? You just want to see the game, right? All right, gotcha. So we got two different opinions right there. But yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora is where you can watch the game either way. Joining us right now, Matt Gelb from The Athletic covers the Phillies. Great article over at The Athletic. If you're a subscriber like me, well, you should be, actually. And you'll find out some of the details as the Phillies are getting ready for the trade deadline. And Matt is with the team out on this West Coast road trip. Matt, how's it going today?
Morning, guys. Well, morning here, I guess.
Exactly. So talk to me real quick about, because before we get to the particulars of the road trip, the article you wrote at The Athletic with all the details, I thought one of the points that you made, I wanted to get your clarity on it, because you talked about how the Phillies in past years have been, you want to call it reticent, apprehensive, like they've not wanted to trade some of these prospects, and now they're getting to the point where it seems like, based on yours and others reporting, is that they're saying, you know what, we're going to have to trade some of these guys if we're serious about winning. Is that a fair interpretation of what your reporting is?
I think so right now. I think that's where they're at in terms of, this trade deadline. And it remains to be seen how it plays out, right? But I think for them to make the kind of move they want to make, I think they've started to acknowledge that, they might have to deal with one of their top guys or two of their top guys. And that doesn't mean you're trading them for a rental, because in the past, in previous deadlines, they have been, I think more half measures, I think, right? I mean, they've targeted rental players. They haven't wanted to make that big splash at the deadline. And truthfully told, it's hard to make a big splash at the deadline. I mean, it really is. So I think given the quality of some of the relievers who may or may not be available at this deadline, it's going to take some top prospects to get access to them. I think for them, it's hard to do a deadline every year where you're trading away, sort of decent prospects to get a rental, and you're doing that now like every summer. I think that's something that, honestly, that they feel like that they probably can't keep doing. So if you can make a move now that helps you in 2025 and then also helps you in 26 and 27 possibly, that's something they're going to consider.
And I think it's an important delineation, Matt, because you mentioned, like last year, Austin Hayes, right? He was here and then he was gone. Guys like Estevez. Whereas now, in order to get those controllable guys, we've heard names like Clase. We've heard guys like Duran and the Red Sox. We've heard names like Mason Miller, I feel like every single year. It's going to take a higher caliber of prospect to get them.
Yeah, 100%. And the two teams I would focus on right now, if you're a Phillies fan, watching them from afar and seeing, how they perform and, whether they become true sellers, are Cleveland and Minnesota. And Minnesota specifically, I think, with Yohan Duran, their fireball closer. And Griffin Jacks, who honestly, like, you'll look at the numbers, you'll see the ERA, and be like, oh, it's like 4. You know, like, well, why do they want this guy so much? But I'm telling you, teams across the sport think that Griffin Jacks is a stud, and he has got the swing and miss kind of stuff that the Phillies really need. And truly, that's what this is about. I mean, you can make it about whoever you want it to be. I mean, they need to acquire more swing and miss stuff for their bullpen, and they know that. You know, the bullpen has been hot and cold, mostly cold. It's pretty leaky right now, but the thing that sticks out the most is that they do not have the kind of swing and miss stuff that they need come October.
Talking with Matt Gell from The Athletic here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios, streaming on X and YouTube at Josh Hennig. Matt, you mentioned also in your article, by the way, again, folks, you got to read the article from Matt Gell about The Athletic because it's very detailed. You made the comment about the Phillies realize that they've made some missteps, miscues. I want to call them mistakes because it's hard to know all the nuance of this stuff. But, Dave Dombrowski publicly, Matt, has been very vocal about how, remember last year was, we have plenty of all-stars. And then this offseason was, we tried to bring back Jeff Hoffman. So he's publicly said that they're trying to do X, Y, Z. But based on what you wrote in The Athletic, it sounds like behind closed doors, they're actually having some let's look in the mirror conversations.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think in the offseason, I think they had some bigger ideas in mind that never came to fruition. And let's not forget, I mean, and I've reported on this, I mean, they got pretty down the road on a Garrett Crochet trade last July with the White Sox. I mean, it was I think it was close, and they were willing at that point to sacrifice some pretty top prospects, but not Andrew Painter. And I think that was a deal breaker for the White Sox, who then traded Crochet to the Red Sox in the offseason. But I think, yes, I mean, I think they've gotten to a point where they have a very top-heavy farm system. I think they're, 4 or 5 prospects at the top who, to varying degrees, that other clubs really like, that can get them a good player. The question is, do you want to cash them in for a reliever, for example, like Aiden Miller, a shortstop, a first-round pick, who's a consensus top 50 prospect in baseball? Is that what you want to use him for? I mean, do you want to use him to get you a reliever? And now, this is sort of the internal debate I think that they're going to have over the next 3 weeks. Is like, let's look across the league, right? I mean, there's not a dominant team. There are some good teams. I don't know that you can say there is a great team in Major League Baseball this year. And when you look at the Phillies as currently constructed, they have an incredible rotation. And to me, that's a difference maker. It sets them aside from many other clubs, and it is a compelling reason for them to maybe be a little more aggressive at this deadline. And I think this is the kind of debate and the way they're leaning. Now, that said, if they want to trade top prospects, they still got to compete with other teams to get these guys. These relievers are going to be coveted and highly sought by just about every contender in baseball. So, there's going to be some competition for these guys.
And I think that's where the which prospect really becomes under the spotlight, right, Matt? It's the idea that, we've heard a lot of baseball people who are much smarter than me, Matt, who have said that Andrew Painter is a Paul Skeens caliber type of prospect. Like, is that a guy that you would even consider trading? Is there potentially a trade out there for that guy? I think that's kind of like at least the line of like, how do you cross that line when it comes to guys like Painter, guys like Aiden Miller to make these trades? I think to me, that is I think that's the thing that would keep me up at night if I was the general manager of the Phillies.
I agree. And I think Painter is in his own category, honestly. Like he was not available last July, in a Crochet trade. And to me, there's not going to be a player on the market this July that is of Crochet's caliber. So I'm, teams that have talked to the Phillies have come away believing that Painter is not on the table, period. Now, other guys, they believe, are more on the table than they were before, but that's to varying degrees. Again, like these better prospects, they're not available for a rental, right? So I think the Phillies have become more realistic about, how aggressive they should be. Again, whether they're able to pull it off, I think that's going to be the real trick here, and how willing are they to trade some of these guys? But to me, Painter, I think it remains a guy who will not be traded.
couple more from Matt Gelb from The Athletic before we let him go here on 97.3 ESPN. Hanging with Hennig here live on the X and YouTube streams thanks to Dr. Squatch Virtual Studios. Matt, you're with the team on this road trip right now. Obviously, this has been an inconsistent offense throughout the year, and it feels like every time they have like a big game, right, they kind of like come back down to earth the next game. When you talk to the players, is there a sense of like frustration with some of this, or is there a little bit more of a, hey, it's a long season, we'll figure it out?
No, I think there's real frustration specifically about the fact that they feel like they've squandered some really good pitching performances. And I think Friday night's game was like the perfect example because during the stretch of, just like so play, they haven't gotten blown out a lot. I mean, they've been in a lot of tight games, and really it's like one or two at bats here or there, and they probably have 3 or 4 more wins. And so I think that's the frustration. They're past the point now where it's like, like this will be fine. I think that they have a good team. I think that they definitely could be better with runners in scoring position. They had 2 chances in Friday night's game with the bases loaded, that they really squandered. And specifically in the 8th inning there, Castellanos is up with 1 out and the bases loaded. Can't get the run in. Then Max Kepler can't get it in with 2 outs. And so, yeah, I can definitely sense some frustration, but I also think that it's a difference between frustration and panic. And I can tell you that there is certainly not a panic. They're in first place. They know they have a good team. I think there's a lot of frustration about the pitching that they've really wasted here.
I know you talked to the guys last night. There were guys who expressed, annoyance, whatever. I took it as annoyance that, basically a guy like Mizorowski gets into the All-Star game instead of guys like Christopher Sanchez and Ranger Suarez. I got to think, Matt, it's not just the Phillies players who are kind of looking around baseball and being like, what are we doing? Because, the All-Star game, that's a major accomplishment. Like, when you vote for the Hall of Fame, for example, what do people do? They look at how many times you were an All-Star. And now, you have guys like Mizorowski who's only pitched, 5 games, getting into the All-Star game. And it seemed like, based on your reporting, that players in the locker room are not thrilled.
No, and I think it comes back to, like, the central debate that we've always had about the All-Star game is what do we want it to be? Is the All-Star game supposed to be the way to acknowledge, the best players in the first half? Or is it an exhibition where you want to see, the most interesting guys or, the guys who are available to play in the game? So, yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of anger in the Phillies clubhouse. And, both Sanchez and Suarez, the league says, were offered the opportunity to be All-Stars and declined. And I think that in the Phillies clubhouse, this only makes it worse, basically, because the league is saying that you are an All-Star. You are worthy enough to be an All-Star, but you're only an All-Star if you tell us you can pitch an inning in the game. And I think that's where guys are frustrated, because you're right. I mean, it is a legacy thing where, when a guy retires, he says, oh, he was a 6-time All-Star. That's usually how, people and media people like me and fans, acknowledge a guy. Like that's part of his resume. That's forever. And so I don't think there's any disputing that Sanchez and Suarez are all-star caliber players, that they had all-star type first halves. I think the frustration in the clubhouse is that there seems to be a difference in, how the guys are picked. And so I get it. I see it from the league side too, where the league is like, well, if we're going to name a replacement, we want this guy to be able to pitch, to commit to pitching. I can see it from Christopher Sanchez's side, who's saying, well, I'm pitching someday, and you're telling me I can be an all-star if I agree to pitch an inning 2 days after my start. I'm not going to do that. Like, I want to prioritize my team. I don't want to put myself at risk. So there's some competing factors here, and I think there's a lot of frustration because in a lot of the Phillies players' minds, those guys should be named all-stars and be allowed to have that honor and then be replaced.
He's Matt Gelb, covers the Phillies for The Athletic. You got all of his coverage in The Athletic. If you are not a subscriber to The Athletic, well, be like me and get on board because some of the best reporting is in The Athletic. And Matt Gelb, who covers the Phillies on the beat, joined us here on 97.3 ESPN. Matt, great stuff. Keep up the great work. Safe travels back.
Thanks, man.
Josh Hennig here in the Dr. Squatch Virtual Studios live on X and YouTube at Josh Hennig. Great stuff from Matt Gelb there. A couple things I want to hit on before we hit the break. We got Andrew in Summers Point, your text and more coming up to get to a 609-403-0973. Andrew, Summers Point, I'll get to you on the other side, but I want to highlight a couple things Matt said. And we'll get to the All-Star stuff more a little bit later because I have a lot to say about that. But I'm glad to hear that the players have the same level of exasperation with the All-Star game process that someone like myself does. Because, when I'm shaking my fist, right? When I'm screaming at the clouds, like, why? It's almost like, you end up in an echo chamber because in today's social media, it's this whole thing of like, I agree with you too. So it's one thing for all of us to sit here and say it, but to hear the players say, yeah, this is a load of, horse manure. Okay. I can't curse on the radio, but like the players are basically saying this is some baloney. This is BS, right? If the players are sitting up there saying it, it kind of makes me feel a little better like, okay, I'm not crazy, okay? And frankly, I think Tom McCarthy's very good at his job. I never want to hear Tom McCarthy give the explanation he did last night ever again, okay? I don't care if that's the reason why Sanchez or Suarez are not all-stars. You heard Matt Gelb say it, and you heard the players complaining about this. This is a legacy thing. This is not like the Pro Bowl when it comes to the NFL. Being an all-star is about your resume. It goes on. If Christopher Sanchez goes on to a career, and I'm just putting this as a scenario, okay? Christopher Sanchez, let's say he finishes his career with 232 wins. He ends up with a borderline Hall of Fame caliber career. And then when the voters sit down and look at his resume and they see he was only a 1 or 2 time All-Star. And then they look at somebody else with a similar resume and that guy was a 6, 7, 8 time All-Star. And maybe that guy has less wins. Or maybe that guy has less strikeouts. Or maybe that guy has a slightly lesser whip or wins above replacement or whatever stat you want to use. Someone who didn't watch Christopher Sanchez every day, who's voting for the All-Star game is going to say, yeah, but he was only a 2-time All-Star. This guy is a 6-time All-Star. And that guy has worse overall stats. And that's how you get guys like Jim Catt into the Hall of Fame. Because they just happen to play long enough. I hate this entire concept that, well, you can't pitch in the All-Star game, so you shouldn't be there. Well, then fine. You could have still brought Mizikowski to the All-Star game to pitch, but still brought Sanchez too and been like, look, we're going to name you an All-Star. We know you can't pitch, but we're going to recognize that you are one of the best pitchers in baseball this year. And your stats are better this year than when you were an All-Star last year. It's not that hard, folks. Look, you're already giving an all-star spot to every stinking team on the planet. I don't need every player on every team to have a player for every team to be an all-star. But baseball says so. So if you're already diluting the all-star pool by guaranteeing that the Rockies and the Marlins and the White Sox and every team gets an all-star, you have already devalued that title. So even though fans and writers, as Matt Gelb from The Athletic pointed out, that we value it and the players value it, baseball has already devalued it. So why not say, Mizikowski, you're on the roster because you're pitching. Sanchez, you're on the roster even though you can't pitch because you deserve the recognition. And the fact that a guy like David Peterson, who has a worse ERA, a worse whip, a worse strikeouts to walk ratio, a worse strikeouts to inning ratio, a worse almost everything compared to Christopher Sanchez, gets into the All-Star game because he's available to pitch. That is a massive, stinking pile of horse manure. Back to your texts and comments coming up on the other side, 609-403-0973. That's text board. Also, we are live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
Get ready for a night of non-stop laughter. Colin Jost, star of NBC's Saturday Night Live, is coming to Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City on Saturday, August 2nd. Experience an evening filled with hilarious comedy from the Weekend Update co-anchor. Don't miss your chance to see Colin Jost live at Ocean Casino Resort. Tickets are on sale now at theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Host. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethost.com/terms.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you.
For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text SUMMER to 64,000. That's SUMMER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. SUMMER to 64,000.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Calvi Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Calvi Electric, the premier electrical contractor serving South Jersey for over 115 years. Visit calvielectric.com today or call 609-345-0151.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This summer, get ready to relive the glory days. Because Hank Azaria and the Easy Street Band are bringing the ultimate Springsteen celebration Saturday, August 23rd to the Music Box at Borgata. Tickets are going fast. Grab yours now at Ticketmaster.com. August 23rd, the Music Box at Borgata. Hank Azaria and the Easy Street Band, a Springsteen celebration. Be there.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
People will come, Ray.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
People will most definitely come.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. Yes, we are back here, another 3-hour show. Get back to the text in just a moment. I got to say really quick, because I'm in the studio, I was dying laughing during the commercial break because, so for those who don't know, the women's Wimbledon final was today. Iga Swiatek, she beat the American Emisova. She was just outclassed. First time an American been in the Wimbledon final since 2019. But Iga Swiatek, she was the obvious woman that's going to win. It's her first Wimbledon, though. I turned around during the break, and I saw on the TV that she's carrying, so for those who don't know, the Wimbledon trophy is this massive plate, right? The lady who, handed it to her for, the trophy presentation, she tried to take it from her, and, Swiatek is, not letting her take it away from her. She's, looking at her like, you are not taking this away from me. I earned this trophy. And the lady who's the curator or whatever, it's the Stanley Cup has the guy with the gloves who carries it everywhere. Well, there's a woman who does that with the Wimbledon trophy. And so the woman is trying to take it from Swiatek for some reason. I couldn't figure out what it was. I had the volume on. But they're trying to take it from her. Swiatek literally don't you dare take this out of my hands. The look she gave her was it was great. It was such a funny moment to me because it was it really shows how important winning a championship is to some of these athletes, especially the individual sports where it's this is the apex of your sport. Tennis, it's Wimbledon, it's the French Open, it's the U.S. Open in golf, it's the Masters jacket, it's the British Open trophy, right? In these sports, these awards, these championships are such a big, big deal. And then someone's just trying to take this thing away from Swiatek, and she's like, don't you dare take this away from me. I earned this trophy. Speaking of trophies, by the way, Friday, July 25th, the WBC belt will be on the line when Boxing Insider Promotions returns to Tropicana Atlantic City showroom Friday, July 25th. Of course, sports special Mike Gill and myself will be broadcasting live that day from 2 to 6, leading you up to all the action. As I mentioned, you have Andy Dominguez from the Bronx taking on veteran Nicaraguan fighter Byron Rojas in a matchup that will be for the WBC U.S. Junior Light Flyweight Silver title on Friday, July 25th. I'll be part of the action. Of course, it's headlined by local fighters like undefeated heavyweight Bruce Seldon Jr. He'll be on the show next Saturday here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Today, coming up at 2:25, we will hear from Philadelphia super lightweight and up-and-coming contender Dion Butt. He has won 10 straight fights heading into this matchup. He is a Temple University alumni, and he will be joining us coming up a little bit later in the show. Also on the card will be Franklin Township's Callie Box, as well as Pleasantville young fighter Julio Sanchez. The third tickets on sale now, Ticketmaster.com for the boxing event of the summer season. All right, back to your text now. Andrew in Summers Point, I promise I'll get to your text first because you're asking a fair question. All right? So I'm not going to dismiss Andrew in Summers Point outright. But Andrew says, why would the Phillies get rid of the young talent when we have dinosaurs who are not performing? Why not call this season a loss, get rid of Marsh, Casty, Bohm, and all the other guys, and call up the young talent for next year? The Mets right now are a better team, I think, than us. So why get rid of all this young talent if not to win a World Series? Well, Andrew's almost point a couple things. One, the Mets are basically even with you in the division. So to say the Mets are better, I don't think is a fair assessment. The Mets have their own plethora of problems. Half their pitching staff is injured. They got some serious issues. So the Mets are not necessarily better than us, number one. Number two, you're talking about trading Marsh and Bohm. They're not dinosaurs. They're still in their 20s. The problem with the Phillies isn't the young versus old debate. The problem with the Phillies is I think they misidentified who is who on this team. I think they misidentified who was going to be the productive players and who was not. I don't think that when you are a team like Philadelphia, the issue isn't that you need to go all in young and wash your hands of the season. You know who's going to do that? Teams like the Orioles, teams like the Cleveland Guardians. Those are teams that have below 500 records. You're 14 games over 500, Andrew Summerspoint. You heard Matt Gell from The Athletic mention it earlier. The Phillies realize this is a wide open field. The Dodgers spent stupid amounts of money and they can't stay healthy. Teams like the Giants and the Padres, they are not unbeatable teams. You look around the National League, the Mets, they got a ton of injuries. The Cubs are young and inexperienced. So if you get to the postseason, you get the right team, I want to say you have easy sailing to the World Series, but you have a pathway to the World Series. And yes, these teams have beaten you in the past, but they've beaten you because the guys you've invested billions of dollars into haven't played out. So now you got to replace them. Text board as well, 609-403-0970. Tom from Margate. What's up, Tom from Margate? Chimes says, hey, Josh, I'm not frustrated. I am disgusted with the MLB All-Star game. He uses the word. I'm not 100% sure if that's a word I'm allowed to use on the radio. We're kind of in that world where it's like there's certain... When I was younger, I'm not that old, but I've been doing media now for 20 years, okay? And there are certain words that are clearly defined that you're not supposed to say on the radio, not say on television. But now we have introduced a whole new set of vernacular into our daily dialogue in the English language that it's like, is it a curse word? Is it not a curse word? But I'll just say Tom from Margate says it's BS what's going on with the MLB All-Star game. I'll say that. I can say that. I know I'm allowed to say that. Tom from Margate, I appreciate you chiming in. I'll get to more of your texts coming up on the other side. 609-403-0973. We are live in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios on X and YouTube. Just follow at Josh Hennig. Still to come, Ryan Smith. He is going to be in New Jersey today for the Sports Center 50 for 50 tour. He is a Philadelphia sports fan. We'll get Ryan's thoughts on the state of the Eagles and the Phillies. And of course, we got Philadelphia Rising Star boxer Dion Butt coming up at 2:25. And, of course, more of your thoughts and comments out there. Thank you for hanging with me, Josh Hennig, on 97.3 ESPN. More coming up next.
Who doesn't love fresh blueberries in this summertime? A nutritional powerhouse, they're low in calories and loaded with antioxidants that help protect us from chronic disease. They're rich in vitamin C and K, fiber, and manganese. Consuming blueberries may contribute to improved brain function, heart health, and reduced inflammation. These little blue gems have been linked to boosting memory, supporting healthy digestion, and even promoting healthy skin. This mighty fruit is versatile. Top your yogurt with fresh blueberries. Add frozen blueberries to a smoothie, or enjoy them plain as a nutritious, refreshing snack or dessert. Just a handful of blueberries a day can make a positive impact on your health. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Have you ever wondered how the Atlantic City wind turbines work? Stop by ACUA's free open house tours every Wednesday at noon in July and August to find out. The wind farm powers ACUA's wastewater treatment facility, keeping our waterways clean and healthy. Visit acua.com/summer tours.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Hello, I am Scott, branch manager with Viking Pest. For over 40 years, Viking has been your shield against pests. Now we're leading the charge with Viking Green, our eco-friendly, low-impact pest control solution. Protect your home with Viking. Visit VikingPest.com to learn more.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station, serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone!
Josh Hennig.
Hour 2 here on 97.3 ESPN, streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Thanks to all of you for joining me wherever you're consuming the show. On the radio, 97.3 ESPN FM, mobile app. Just download for free. Thanks First Bank of Sea Isle, 97.3 ESPN, wherever you get your apps. What is still called a Google Play, the Apple App Store? I think. What I do know is we are live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Like, subscribe, download, share with your friends. We are live in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. Still to come, Ryan Smith, SportsCenter anchor. But his story is wild. How his childhood dream was to be a sports broadcaster, Ryan Smith. But he goes and ends up the law school, becomes a sports entertainment lawyer. Then he gets opportunity to get in the media. And now years later, he is SportsCenter anchor in the ESPN 50 for 50 tour, 50 states and 50 days for SportsCenter. They are in New Jersey today. New Jersey is the home of the very first professional baseball game in American history. And that's why Ryan Smith is coming to New Jersey. And he'll join us to talk all that, as well as some Eagles and Phillies sports talk. He is a Phillies sports fan. Talk about that, all that and more here on 97.3 ESPN. We will talk some Eagles a little bit later in the show. But first, we're going to get back to the Phillies conversation. We open the show here on 97.3 ESPN, hanging with Hennig, Josh Hennig, hanging out with you about the Phillies, the state of the team. And I'll get back to your text at 609-403-0970. You also can comment on the YouTube stream at Josh Hennig. Wherever you're watching, consuming the show, thank you for watching. Thank you for consuming. Before we get back to the text, I want to kind of revisit something that Matt Gelb told us in the last hour. One of the comments Matt Gelb made was about how this is a Phillies team, an organization that was very, very apprehensive to trade their top prospects in the past. And I think that needs to be part of this conversation for Philadelphia. Because one could argue that part of the reason why the Phillies are in the predicament they are in now, and let's be very, very specific about what that predicament is. This is a team that is built to win 95 games in a regular season, but they are not well constructed for a postseason run. They are a team that is a boomer bust lineup. They are an offense that goes hot and cold what seems like daily. They lack consistency. They lack reliability. There is really only two hitters on this team when they come up to bat that you say, better watch out for that guy. in a league where a majority of the contenders, okay, not all of them, I totally get that, but a majority of the contenders around Major League Baseball are teams and players that have multiple, watch out for that guy. Like, look at the Mariners. Cal Raleigh is on the verge of tying or breaking Barry Bonds' record for most home runs before the All-Star break. It's a crazy accomplishment when you really get down to it. Like, the power surge that he has. But the reason why the Mariners are 49 and 45 and where they're at is not just because of Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh might be the headliner, but they got a lineup full of guys who, when they come up to bat, you're like, you better watch out for that guy. Julio Rodriguez, one of the best young players of all of baseball. When he comes up to bat, he is, again, not a great batting average, but he's second on their team in RBI. He is one of the best hitters in baseball with runners in scoring position. Past World Series, won the World Series with the Tampa Bay Rays, Randy Arozarena. He is always a threat when he comes up to bat. And by the way, former Phillies prospect J.P. Crawford, he's having a great year for the Mariners. I just named a bunch of guys who I think are more scary when they come up to bat. All right? Raleigh, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, Randy Arozarena, J.P. Crawford. 4 guys, when they go up to bat, you know, better watch out, this guy might do something. I don't get that feeling with most of the Phillies lineup. I get that feeling with Kyle Schwarber. I get that feeling with Bryce Harper. And to an extent, I get that feeling with Trey Turner. Not Nick Castellanos. Not Alec Bohm. Not Bryson Stott. Definitely not Max Kepler. Or Johan Rojas. Or Brandon Marsh. Or any of these guys. You're looking at those guys the same way. If you're a Phillies fan who's old enough, it's how you looked at guys like back in the day. Rico Brogna, David Bell, Desi Relaford. You looked at those guys and you were hopeful they might do something. I can name more if you really want me to. Travis Lee, Marlon Byrd, Dominic Brown. You didn't look at any of those guys with any great, like, oh boy, here we go. We got a bunch of dudes here. Like the 2008 Phillies, that team was full of dudes. And even though, yes, we focus a lot on Utley, Rollins, Howard, the reality is that when Jason Worth came to bat, when Shane Victorino came to bat, when Pat Burrell came to bat, there was a threat. There was a level of attention that you knew, hey, this is not one of the 3 best players, but these are threats. These guys are dangerous. Pat Burrell's a power hitter, okay? Shane Victorino is a clutch performer in the postseason. Jason Worth, a clutch hitter. You don't get that vibe with the other guys. So the problem with the Phillies is they have built a team that can win a bunch of games in the regular season, but in a big moment in the postseason, you don't believe in those guys in the big moments. So now the Phillies have to rectify it. So bring it back to Matt Gelb's point. The situation they're in demands that now you're looking at your top prospects. Andrew Painter, who Matt Gelb said is in a category unto himself in terms of his potential. Aiden Miller is considered one of the best Phillies hitting prospects in generations, not just years, generations. Mick Abel, I think, still has a ton of potential. Aaron Escobar, Eduardo Tai, these are 2 young players at single A level who have a great future ahead of them, it looks like. You got guys like Alex McFarland. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery. He's just throwing fireballs in the minor leagues. And you have other prospects as well, like Justin Crawford and others who a lot of people seem to think very highly of. But because you have misspent your money, because you have not allocated your resources properly, now you must use your other assets to take this team from we can win a lot of games in the regular season to I have a chance to win a World Series. And that's why these prospects, these conversations have to be made. Josh Hennig hanging out with you in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Of course, Hanging with Hennig, as always, being brought to you by yesterday's Creekside Tavern, the #1 sports bar in South Jersey, located on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. And Boxing Insider Promotions presents Boxing's return to Tropicana Showroom in Atlantic City with 3 New Jersey fighters, 2 Philadelphia fighters, as well as a WBC belt on the line Friday, July 25th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. And, of course, Climate Performance Method in Egg Harbor Township. Thanks to all of them for their support, bringing you Hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. All right, back to the text board. 609-403-0973. This texter didn't leave their name, but I'm still going to read their text. Anonymous chimes in and says, Josh, I hear when you say that it makes the All-Star game feel like it's not as valued as it used to be. How would you compare that to the way the NFL does the playoffs? I mean, as it stands right now, at least one team from each division gets a playoff spot. You could have 2 teams in the same division, both go 15-2, and only one of them might get a playoff spot. Do you think that's kind of similar? Do you think it should be changed? Well, the NFL playoffs is very different. We as sports fans have a bad habit of comparing every week the game matters sport like football to leagues like basketball, hockey, and baseball where the season is so long that whatever happens early in the season may have little to no consequence what happens in the postseason. In football, almost every week matters. So I don't think that the NFL, what the NFL does, you should win your division, okay? Making the playoffs is very different than an all-star selection because that's a team accomplishment. Making the postseason is a team accomplishment. Being an all-star, being a all-pro in the NFL, that's an individual accolade because what happens to players is when your professional career is done, now the individual comes out, okay? If you have if I could make a non-sports analogy, if you have a movie or a television show that wins Best Picture, Best Sitcom, the individual doesn't just get recognized. Everyone involved, the script writers, the cameramen, the producers, the executive, the financing people, the studio, everyone is part of that accomplishment. Everyone had a piece in that team's accomplishment. So I don't think the NFL allowing multiple teams in the playoffs devalues anything. I don't think it's similar at all. An individual accomplishment is more about, okay, how do we differentiate ourselves from the team accomplishment? So when you're an all-star, that means you're one of the best players on the team that had the accomplishment. And if you're not going to recognize those people properly, like baseball is doing right now, you're devaluing that individual accomplishment. The only time that making the postseason is devalued is when you put too many teams in the postseason. Like with the NCAA right now, they're discussing the idea of putting more teams in the men's college basketball and women's college basketball tournaments. That's stupid. You're devaluing what it means to make that tournament. You're devaluing what it means to make the postseason. College football is kind of on that verge right now where college football is dangerously close to taking their playoffs and simultaneously devaluing the regular season and the postseason. They're very, very close to making that mistake. I think the NFL doesn't do that right now. Andrew Summers Point, he follows up at 609-403-0973. He says, you're right about Cal Raleigh. It's a crazy accomplishment to potentially break Barry Bonds' record, especially when you're not using steroids or HGH. Andrew Summers Point, I'm glad you mentioned that because Cal Raleigh, first of all, if you ever see him, I mean, that boy is country strong. They call him the big dumper for a reason. That dude, he is built like a man-child. It's ridiculous. He looks like a guy who should, like, if you ever go back and watch, like, the old baseball footage of, like, the great home run hitters back in the day, like the Harmon Killebrews and the, trying to think of another, Aaron, maybe not Hank Aaron, because Hank Aaron was just a ridiculous athlete, but, like, the larger-than-life human beings, Tony Perez, right? These guys who were these power hitters back in the day. Frank Robinson, that's another one. These guys were just large human beings hitting bombs. And Cal Raleigh kind of fits into that prototype. And it is a crazy accomplishment that guy's one home run off of Barry Bonds' record for most home runs in the first half of a season. And by the way, Barry Bonds, just to say it really quick, Bonds would have been a Hall of Famer if he never took the performance-enhancing drugs. People forget, and this has been documented by a lot of reports, Barry Bonds took the HGH and the performance-enhancing drugs because he was so angry about all the attention that Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa got for juicing up. And no one said anything back then, right? The Andro, the anabolic steroid, Andro, was in Mark McGwire's locker over his shoulder when reporters were talking to him. Jose Canseco was not shy at all about his steroid use. Everyone could tell that Sammy Sosa juiced up. Everyone could tell that Brady Anderson for 1 year was on the juice. And Bonds, who had been doing it naturally for years, won league MVPs. I mean, the dude had, 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases in a year. He was a future Hall of Famer already. And Bonds was like, why are they getting all the attention? You know what? I'm going to jump on this train. And that's when he took the juice. So I've always viewed Bonds and his performance-enhancing drug use differently than everybody else because Bonds did it because he was angry that other people did it. And so in an era where it was not illegal to use steroids, it was not illegal to use performance-enhancing drugs, Bonds was just saying, this is the way the league is going? Fine. And that's why it's almost like more impressive that Bonds did what he did, because he did it out of spite. We have no idea if Mark McGwire, if Jose Canseco, if some of these guys would have accomplished what they did if it wasn't for the juice. Bonds, he didn't need it. And he took it, and it enhanced him tenfold. Roger Clemens was going to the Hall of Fame anyway. And then he started taking those shots, and he extended his career. I think there's a huge difference in how we evaluate. I've always looked at the steroid era in baseball as hey, I cannot put all these guys into the same basket. Because hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. There is nothing harder than hitting that baseball coming at you 93, 94, 95, 96 miles an hour, 98 now, 99, 100 miles an hour. Mason Miller had a fastball, 104 miles an hour the other day. So if you can hit a baseball and you can hit it far, dude, that's impressive. Steven Vettner chimes in and says, I'm obsessed with the Mariners roster. So many guys that could help the Phillies. Yeah, they're not coming. The Mariners are doing the opposite of the Rick Pitino game. They are not letting anyone walk out that door. Andrew from Delaware chimes in at 609-403-0973 and says, the only players I feel comfortable batting in the Phillies lineup are the ER players. Schwarber, Harper, Turner. That's a good one. You're right. Those are really the only three players, Andrew, in Delaware, that the Phillies you look at and you're like, man, when that guy comes up the bat, I know something good can happen. Because you're right. Anyone without an ER at the end of their name, you're just kind of like, well, Kepler's got an ER at the end of his name, but you don't feel that way about Kepler. Kepler is the guy you look at and you're like, can you not hit today? Can you not come up the bat? All right, we'll get to more texts coming up later in the hour. Johnny G from Ocean City, your texts and more. Keep them coming in. 609-403-0973. We are streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig, the Dr. Squatch Virtual Studios. Coming up on the other side, Philly sports fans, Sports Center anchor Ryan Smith joins us here as Sports Center's 50 in 50 Days comes to New Jersey today, the home of the very first professional baseball game in American history. All that and more coming up next. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN.
Sunday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein. Danny Ryan will join me in the studio and produce the show. We will look at the Phillies at the All-Star break. Did the Phillies get snubbed by Major League Baseball for this year's All-Star game? Every Sunday during the baseball season, we go on the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green, brought to you by Blitz's Market of Ocean City. Tommy gives us his thoughts on the Phillies and previews Sunday's game. Sixers, Eagles, Flyers, talk and more. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.
Your go-to spot at the Jersey Shore to watch sports is also the Can't Miss Summertime Hangout for live music and great times in South Jersey. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora features The Yard, with an outside bar, TVs, and live music on stage every weekend. So bring your friends to cheer on your favorite team, watch the sunset on the back deck, and make new summer memories in The Yard. You can do it all at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to learn about upcoming events and specials all summer long at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora.
Member Week is here at Lowe's. Don't miss your chance to get up to 40% off hundreds of items like paint, tools, home essentials, and more. Shop our exclusive deals happening in-store and online now through July 18th. Not a rewards member? Join for free today and get ready to save more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/20/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Host. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethost.com/terms.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable pocket hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you.
For a limited time, you can get a free pocket pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text SUMMER to 64,000. That's SUMMER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. SUMMER to 64,000.
7 years of fun and play. Go to Ocean Casino Resort for our 7th birthday. Go for the fun times and the tan lines. Go for the biggest acts and the hottest tracks. Hit a jackpot. Take a lucky spin. With over $7 million in prizes, it's time to go for the win. We've cherry-picked 7 new experiences for sizzling summer fun. Make Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City the cherry on top to your summer. Book today at theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by. Star-Lord.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig hanging out with you, of course, on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. And we are streaming always on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. ESPN SportsCenter 50 in 50 days. They are today in New Jersey. Yes, the tour has finally reached the Garden State, and we are talking now with a man who is familiar with the New Jersey area because of his own sports fandom. He is SportsCenter anchor and legal analyst for ESPN, Ryan Smith. Of course, you've seen him on not just SportsCenter, but Get Up, filling in there as well on ESPN television. He joins us right now on 97.3 ESPN. Ryan, welcome in. How you doing today?
Josh, I'm doing great. I'm in the car. I'm right around Nyack. I'm headed to Central Jersey. So what beats today? I'm on my way.
You're on your way. So I got to ask you first and foremost, because SportsCenter in 50 in 50 days. Like, can you give the audience a little behind the scenes about how does that conversation go? Does it does a producer come to you and say, "Hey Ryan, you're assigned to New Jersey," or is it a conversation where "Hey Ryan, would you like to do one of these states?" How does that conversation even go?
Well, after I assumed they picked the people who were going to Hawaii, and I wasn't one of them, then they started saying, "Let's split up the rest of the states." The funny thing is, they asked me, and the biggest thing we do is we talk about when we're going to be away because it's always during the summer. So we all had to figure that out. And then they just start telling us, "Hey, you want to go here? You want to do this? You want to do that?" I picked Jersey. I lived in Montclair for a little bit. I was happy to do it. I know some people wanted to go far out, different places. I like that too, but it's I've spent a lot of time in New Jersey, and I kind of grew up liking things in Jersey. So I was great. And plus, I live in Connecticut. I live in Westport. So it's jump in a car and come on down. It's perfect for me. So basically, we are, I think it's a little bit of a mix. They ask you a little bit, what do you think you like, where you want to go? But it's also a little bit of, hey, you're going here. It's a little bit both of them. If you said no, I guess you don't have to go. But I didn't say no. I love being here.
Well, I would also say I remember watching. I think it was a keynote speech you were doing a couple of years ago. You were telling the audience to always say yes, and I think that's it's kind of the theme of your career, right? Because for those who don't know, man, as a kid, you wanted to be a sportscaster, but then you got into the legal profession, and then your life kind of came full circle. So it's kind of ironic that you saying yes to doing this is kind of on brand for your entire life, right?
Dude, first of all, that's great that you even know that and saw that. But yeah, it's true. The only time I don't say yes is if I've already committed to something with my family. But honestly, it's just the way to go, man. First of all, I say this, Josh, we're working in sports, man. We're working in sports. It's of all the things that people have to do that are really difficult, this isn't one of them. This is what we love to do. So when somebody says, "Hey, you're going to go to Jersey and you're going to hang out on a baseball field and throw out the first pitch," and all, come on, you got me on. Hey, you're going to go hang out on a baseball field. I'm in. And the other thing is, for me, opportunity comes with yes. So if you're saying yes to things, then who knows what follows. If you're saying no, then you never know what's going to happen. So for me, this is not only on brand, it's kind of how I live my life, especially professionally, and especially when you're doing something that you love, man. I love doing this work. I love going on location, talking to people, and I love anything sports. So this is right up my alley, man.
Ryan Smith, SportsCenter anchor, joining us here on 97.3 ESPN, hanging with Hennig, streaming live on the YouTube and X platforms, as well as Josh Hennig. Ryan, you mentioned New Jersey, 50 in 50 days. New Jersey, the home of the first ever professional baseball game. So where you are going to be today, tell folks a little bit about what you guys got going on today with SportsCenter 50 for 50.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the things with 50 for 50 is 50 and 50 is we try to kind of identify what's unique about each state. And when they came up with Jersey, the first thing I thought was like, Sprenos, there's so many things we could do. But we all talked about how the first baseball game was played here. So I'm going to go to Somerset, New Jersey, to the Somerset Patriots game. Now, they're doing something really interesting today. There's a really cool team, and I'm sure you know, minor league teams, they do marketing better than anybody. And one thing they do, and they're doing today, is they're not changing their name, but they're adopting an alter ego. And their alter ego is going to be called the Diners. So they're going to outfit themselves as the Diners, because obviously New Jersey, in addition to being famous for having the first baseball game and so many other things, is all the great diners in Jersey. Trust me, in Connecticut, we don't hold the candle to Jersey diners. So tonight, the Somerset Patriots are going to be the Somerset Diners. And so I'm going there. I'm going to be on the field. I'm going to talk to some of the guys. I hope to not 50 cent my first pitch that I throw out tonight. And then I'm going to sit down, try a bunch of diner food, because they're serving up a bunch of diner food tonight. So basically for me, it's like exploring everything Jersey that is baseball and getting to eat amazing food. So this is a fantastic assignment. I mean, my co-anchors, other people I've seen, they've had to rough it in the mountains and all that. I just go to a baseball game, hit grounders, and eat. That's perfect. I love it.
I will recommend to you, Ryan, as a washed-up high school baseball player, the key to not bouncing the ball at the plate is to release the ball before it crosses the plane of your head.
Release before I cross the plane of my head. You know what? I remember that from being younger. Can I tell you, Josh, the funniest thing? I just thrown a pitch in like 20-some years. And I was like, wait, what am I supposed to do again? I remember getting my foot in front. I remember rocking back. I remember all of it. But it's like, that's a great point. Now, will I listen and do it? That's another question. But I like the advice. I'm with it, man. Okay. I've heard a bunch of advice. Actually, the guy I anchored with yesterday, Arda Ocal, he threw out the first pitch at a Savannah Bananas type of game, and he told me he, like, bounced it up there. So he's like, as long as you don't do that, you can come back and work. So my pride is on the line, man.
Well, Ryan, listen, as you understand, because of all the work you've done, because I also work as a producer here at 97.3 ESPN. So, the producer's job is to help, the person on the microphone or in front of the camera be successful. So I'm just trying to help you be successful, okay?
Yeah, man. Although they can't help me throw the ball, or though maybe I can, they can pretend to be me, throw it. If they blow it up, I can act like it wasn't me. We got to figure that out. One way or another, it's got to get to the catcher. I mean, can I ask you this, too, Josh? What makes it so hard to throw out the first pitch? Like, I can throw a pitch in a normal day.
Oh, it's easy. It's overthinking. Ryan, I always tell people, as the world's foremost expert at overthinking, I can tell you that overthinking is the thing that probably stops us from being successful as much as we should be.
I love that. So you just gave me more to think about then. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. By the way, let's divert here, because for those who don't know, Ryan, you grew up as a Philadelphia sports fan. You mentioned New Jersey. So I got to get your thoughts on, the state of some of these teams. So let's start with, you are in a building and a company where there's a lot of non-Philadelphia sports fans. Off the top of my head, I think it's basically you and Kevin Nagandi, like the only real, the only real two. So, is there a part of you that walks around like, you spend all this time, it's like, get up. It's like Jets, Lakers, right? On SportsCenter, it's Yankees, it's Chiefs. And then it's like, oh, and by the way, the Eagles have won their second Super Bowl in the last 8 years, just to let you know, right?
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. It's like they got to give me every Eagles highlight I do. Every time they come on the show, they got to – all these Giants fans and Jets fans talking trash all year. People were ripping us over Sirianni's going to get fired. That didn't happen, even though I was one of those people. Look, I'm not gonna lie, man. There were a couple times last year where I didn't know how I was going to go with the Eagles. So I was kind of like, what are we going to do? But I'll tell you what. Now I got my chest out. Now I get to do every Eagles feature. Now I get to brag on air openly. It's hilarious. And the funny thing is, these guys have to eat it all up. Every producer tries to work around it. It's like, hey, can we work at some Eagles here? Can we figure out a way to get the Eagles in the show? So, man, it's paradise. When you can have the best team that's not a New York team and you work at ESPN, your life is really good until the season begins next year. So right now, man, I'm on top of cloud nine. This is like perfect. Of course, you asked me about the best team right away. So the other three, it's like we go downhill from there, right?
Well, we'll get to those in a minute. But, we are in Philadelphia sports country down here in South Jersey. We are the Eagles affiliate here at the Shore, 97.3 ESPN. So what are Ryan Smith's expectations for the 2025 edition of the Eagles?
All right. Now, I know Philly fans are going to know this kind of feeling and attitude. But when we won first of all, we won the championship game, I was in a state of shock. Like, there's just a part of me that always feels like the bottom's going to drop out with the Eagles. And then when we won the Super Bowl, I was in a state of shock. I'm actually still living in that state of shock. So my next year expectations is, can we just make the playoffs? Now, I know Eagles fans are listening to this and they're screaming at me, but just remember, I am born and raised in Philadelphia. All I know is loss. It's all I know. So it's 1 year, 2 Super Bowls in 8 years. It doesn't take it away from me. I still have it stuck all over me. So for me, I just want to make it to the playoffs, and I want to see where we go from there. Yes, I think we can win the Super Bowl again. Yes, we have the talent. Yes, we lost coaches, but it's okay. I mean, I think Sirianni, the plan is still there. Saquon's still there. Still got a great D. Still got Jalen. Everything's good. But the thing is, I'm still from Philadelphia. I still have to live with decades of loss. So for me, it's like we make the playoffs, I can breathe. That's where I'm. Plus, I don't want to jinx it, so I can't say anything about it. I can't even say that other word about the championship.
Well, that kind of gives me to my other point, because you mentioned about all the people you work with up there at ESPN. Ryan Smith joining us on his way to SportsCenter 50 and 50 days over in Somerset for the baseball game over there. You mentioned it. So who, and I'm saying this way because, as you know, Ryan, we are on radio, you're on television. So there's FCC things that we can't say in a certain way. But who gets more horse manure dumped on them that still surprises you? Is it surprising that it's Jalen Hurts or that it's Nick Sirianni?
Jalen Hurts. I feel like, look, Sirianni, you know what it is about Sirianni? Let me just say this. He's so Philly that he's too Philly. So it's like, in some ways, I feel as an Eagles fan, you look at him and it's like your friend is coaching, like some guy you grew up with. And you're like, should the guy I grew up with be coaching this team? You have that thought all the time. That's a compliment to Nick Sirianni, but it's also probably why he gets ripped so much. Jalen Hurts, he's not from our spot. So it's like he's actually good in real life all the time. He's not our friend. He's just an amazing quarterback. But every time he has a downturn, we rip him. And to me, it's like he gets dumped on all the time. And I don't get it. The guy, in my mind, is clearly a top 5 quarterback, not only because of the success he's had, but because of the way he's come up big in big games, and because he actually gets the numbers and he gets the job done and he implements the game plan. He works with his feet. Who else can get a first down whenever he gets it? And it's not just a tush push. You know what I mean? It's like, to me, we need to start including him in the conversation as a top 5 quarterback. And I know people are probably screaming at the radio, listening to you right now, but it's like he is in that conversation. What more do you need? It's like he won 6 more Super Bowls and then he's still not in the conversation. People just can't find a way to get him around that conversation yet.
But Ryan,
this is his year.
I gotta say, isn't that the double standard of the world we live in? It's like, hey, we telling you got to get to this level of accomplishment, and then when you get there, we still don't appreciate you. It's like part of the world we live in. It's like, you get to a certain level, And it's like, yeah, but. And you're like, no. You told me to get to this level, and now you're telling me, yeah, but. Like, when did that come into the addendum?
And not only that, when do we start including winning and the ability to win, as difficult as we all know that is, in someone's greatness? Like, for example, I love Lamar Jackson. Obviously, he is a much better, more skilled quarterback than Jalen Hurts right now. At least I feel that way. But Jalen Hurts is Super Bowl, man. He's a winner. He's won a lot of games. And to me, it doesn't make him better than Lamar. It makes conversation. And I think for us, we can get caught up in like statistical numbers. We can get caught up in acrobatic plays. And then we start saying that's the barometer for what the best is. I think when you win and you excel in the stats and you excel as a teammate and you excel as a leader, what more does he need to do? Seriously. It's like throw for 6,000 yards and then somebody else will find something to say about him. So, yeah, I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, if he throws for 6,000 yards, he didn't hand the ball off to Saquon. That's what they'll say.
Exactly.
Couple more for Ryan Smith, of course, SportsCenter anchor, legal analyst. He is on his way to SportsCenter 50 States in 50 Days over at the Somerset Baseball Field. I got to ask you, for you as a Philadelphia sports fan, who is more frustrating right now? Is it the Sixers and their constant here's the wall of weird, or is it the Phillies and their, hey, we spent $500 million on these guys and they can't show up in the postseason?
I would say it's a good question if you were talking about the Sixers, because to me, the Phillies, disappointing, but no one comes close to the Sixers. The Flyers don't come close to the Sixers. Like, no one comes close to the Sixers. We have franchise center. I mean, look, I get like so frustrated when I talk about them. The funny thing is, Josh, I actually grew up loving the Sixers more than any other team. They are my first, my best, my only to begin with. And then it was the Phillies. And then later on, I've always loved the Eagles, but they kind of were like third growing up for us because we had tickets to Phillies games. We had tickets to Sixers games. And what gets me is like, this team just seems so disjointed, man. It just seems like the idea of winning a title is not something that's in their DNA. And we just keep putting piece after piece after piece together, going on this process, mortgaging the future now for the present. Before we were mortgaging the present for the future. It's like, I just don't see a way to turn it around. And look, I will always root for the Sixers. I hope that we find a way to turn it around this year. I hope Paul George becomes an all-star again. I hope Joel Embiid plays, 65th? I hope Joel Embiid plays 50 games. I mean, that's ridiculous that I'm even saying that. But it's just like, I hope that we can get these guys on the court together. And it's like, but I feel like when I look at the Sixers, I'm looking at a highly optimistic version of a fantasy basketball team is the only way we can win. It's like parts that don't necessarily fit. Everybody has to play. And if they all play together on paper, the big three should all get 30 points a game. But they got one ball. And they don't even really show that they can share it. And by the way, they don't even play together because they're never even healthy. So for me, I am just hoping for a turnaround this year, man. The East is wide open. I know there's a lot of hope. Just be healthy. That's my hope for this year, man. If we could be healthy, the frustration will go away a little bit. But right now, it's just year after year after year of this is just awful.
All right, Ryan, before I let you go, parting thought on New Jersey. So, favorite and least favorite thing about New Jersey? Go.
My least favorite is the traffic. Oh, one of the reasons why I don't live there anymore. That's easy. Least favorite has always been the traffic. Favorite thing about Jersey, I mean, it's so ridiculous, just popped in my head. So I lived in Montclair. Montclair is one of my favorite things about Jersey because it's a great place. But the food, man. Montclair has this great Chinese place. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'd love to give them a shout out. But it's like the food in Jersey, man. Especially in the diners, man. And by the way, the place is called T.S. Ma. Amazing if you're ever in Montclair. But the food in Jersey, especially in the diners, top notch. And there are people out there who are not from Jersey who are going to be like, what are you talking about? Look, I'm not saying it's better than a Philly cheesesteak, but I'm saying top notch. All over Jersey, great restaurants, man. I love it.
Love those answers. He's Ryan Smith, of course, SportsCenter 50 States in 50 Days. He is on his way to Somerset, New Jersey for the baseball game today. And, of course, he joined us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Ryan, appreciate you jumping on. I just got to tell you, you are someone that I've always enjoyed watching on SportsCenter, on Get Up, and all the platforms because, you are someone who is an inspiration to the rest of us. That if you put in the hard work, if you do things the right way, you can go places in this business. So keep up what you're doing because there's a lot of people like myself and others who look at you and saying, see, that guy does it the right way. And we know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Is not a train.
Josh, man, that means so much, man. Thank you for saying that. Hey, man, it's like you said, always say yes. And I'll tell you what, man, I got your advice in my head, man. I will try my best not to screw up this first pitch, even though the fact that I just said that probably means that I will.
Listen, you got to think positive thoughts. If you speak positive, it becomes positive, okay?
I'm a Philly fan, man. I can't help it. All right, but you're right.
Ryan, have a good one, man. Take care.
All right, take care, man.
Josh Hennig here in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios here on 97.3 ESPN. Yeah, Ryan's right. As Philly fans, we have a tendency to be negative, probably way more than we should be. But hey, if you believe something bad is going to happen, like I interviewed Jim Murphy from the Inner Excellence book, and one of the things talks about inner excellence is that if you believe it, it can be, right? If you believe you can succeed, you will succeed. If you believe it can be done, it will be done. So great stuff from Ryan Smith there. Appreciate him joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. Great insights from him. And I love when he said that, it's like with Jalen Hurts, like no matter what he does, it's not good enough. But the Nick Sirianni thing was funny, that he's too Philly. That it's like, because he's not from Philly, and then he acts too Philly, people like give him the side eye, I'd be like, what's wrong with that guy? Well, you're not supposed to be that much like us. You're not even one of us, but you kind of are because you won a championship. So great stuff from Ryan Smith again. SportsCenter, 50 States in 50 Days. Great insights from him. Great conversation. As I told him, look, he's one of the best at SportsCenter. Get Up. It's one of those deals where it's like, we live in a world where there's a lot of people who get to where they are not because they actually put in the work. And Ryan is one of those people who don't know his full story. He was a lawyer. He was a full-time lawyer. He wasn't even doing the sports gig. And then one day someone came up to him and was like, hey, you should try this. So he worked with somebody, and you can go look it up online, his full story. But like basically he put out a reel. He had never done television before, and he started as a legal analyst. And then it was, hey, you like sports, right? Why don't you do this? And then it was, hey, have you read a teleprompter? And he's like, in his mind, he said, no, I haven't. But then he taught himself how to read a teleprompter. And like, he has worked his way up the ladder to being, one of the primary SportsCenter anchor rotation. And I've always said that, I root for people who are successful because if you're doing it the right way, it gives the rest of us hope that, hey, if you do it the right way, if you work your way up the ladder, you do things, you follow the steps, you do the work, that hard work pays off. So glad to see Ryan. We'll find out. I'm sure that if he doesn't throw that first pitch well today, that'll go viral. So we'll find out if he listens to my advice. So great stuff from him. Of course, our conversation with Ryan Smith being brought to you, as always, by yesterday's Creekside Tavern and More, the best sports bar in South Jersey. Clement Performance Method in Egg Harbor Township. Boxing Insider Promotions return to Tropicana Atlantic City showroom on July 25th for the action-packed summer boxing event of the summer season. And, of course, don't forget Dion Butt, the rising Philadelphia star boxer, will join us coming up at 2:25 today, Hanging with Hennig. Back to text board next on 97.3 ESPN.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clement Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, ClementPerformanceMethod.com.
Flounder season is gearing up, and the one stop for everything you need is the bait and tackle shop at Utch's Marina in historic Cape May. Come to Utch's for a huge selection of flounder spinning and conventional rods and combos for the boat or the surf, with top name brands available like Penn, Tsunami, Ocean Max, Shimano, and more. Only at Utch's Marina, your home away from home at the foot of the bridge in Cape May. Check out the half-off sale going on right now. Live bait, frozen bait, rods and reels, lures too. Visit Utch's today. Bait and tackle shop open daily.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with Xfi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Step up to the plate, Phillies fans. Now through July 30th, Instant Services, your total comfort specialists, is giving you the chance to win 4 Hall of Fame club tickets to see the Phils in style. See details at instantservices.com. Call in the pros at Instant Services for your HVAC, plumbing, or electrical needs in South Jersey, PA, and Delaware. With free in-home HVAC estimates, 24/7 emergency service, and financing options, Instant Services is always ready to bring the heat or cool things down. Visit instantservices.com.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I want my picks back. I want David Putnam.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All my picks back, and I want David Putnam just because I feel like it.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I am. Haven't I proved that already?
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
As promised, I want to get back to the text board. You guys' thoughts and comments, 609-403-0973. Also, we are streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. Of course, you could chime in on the YouTube. Jeff from Summers Point did that earlier on the stream, but we'll get back to the text board right now at 609-403-0973. Johnny G. I know Johnny G's a big Eagles fan. He's chiming in. He says the Phillies are the 5th best record in Major League Baseball. If not for Romano, they might have the best record. Trade your assets now. Go for the win. This could be our last chance for a while for the Phillies. That's Johnny G in Ocean City. Couple things there, Johnny. One, I love the Romano point because, you know, I go back to, 2021, when the Phillies had the most blown saves in Major League Baseball, and they tried to salvage the season by going out and getting Ian Kennedy, and you were like, well, I mean, Ian Kennedy's better than everybody we have, you kind of deal. And, you know, when you have a guy at the end of the game who can't get the job done, I don't care how talented he is, I don't care how good of a guy he is, if you just can't do the job, you can't do the job. So Johnny G is 100% right. At some point, the Phillies, they don't need to just get somebody to replace Romano. They need to get somebody to take away the idea of using Romano in those big moments. He talks about going for it, last chance for a while. I think that's where the contrast is for someone like Andrew and Summers Point. The idea that it's like, look, Johnny G is saying, you got to go for it, and you got to go for it now. This is the time to do it. And as Andrew Summers Point is like, you know, should we really go for it now because we have all these young players? And I lean to Johnny G in Ocean City for this reason. You go for it now because the future is unknown. Yeah, Andrew Painter is considered one of the best, if not the best pitching prospect the Phillies have ever had, right? Aiden Miller is supposed to be the best hitting prospect since Mike Schmidt. That's what guys like Jason Stark and Tim Kurchin have said, right? Mick Abel is projected to be a elite number 3, a high-level number 2 starter in the major leagues. Who else we got? Guys like Rincones and Escobar are supposed to be, their ceiling is all-star caliber infielders, right? You have a guy like Justin Crawford. He is an all-star caliber outfielder. You have all these prospects, and it's like, yeah, but there's no promise or guarantee. You're Ryan Smith say, as a Sixers fan, you're promised all these things, and these guys don't always work out. So, if there's no promise or guarantee that these prospects are going to work out, why would you depend on the future that may never come? I go back to when the Phillies traded for Roy Halladay and for Cliff Lee. None of those players that they traded turned out to be anything except for Carlos Carrasco. And who was the other one? Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher. Those are the only 2 prospects the Phillies traded during that era that turned out to be anything at all in the major leagues. And d'Arnaud was never an elite catcher. There was never a moment where Philly fans were like, man, we should have never traded d'Arnaud. That never happened, right? And then Carlos Carrasco, he had a solid major league career, but there was never a moment we were like, oh my goodness, how do we trade away that guy? So when you look at these prospects, you can't look at them as that's the future. You got to look at those prospects as those guys may never pan out. I need to go get something that I know is going to work. And that's why I lean to Johnny G. Trade the assets. Win this year. Because there's no guarantee. What if Harper's in the decline right now? What if Kyle Schwarber leaves in free agency? What if Ranger Suarez leaves in free agency? There's no guarantee that next year and the year after and the year after you are going to have too many more shots at a World Series. And if John Middleton is telling the truth, and he says that his legacy as an owner will be defined by this team winning a championship, then John Middleton, it is your job as the owner and managing partner of the Phillies to tell Dave Dombrowski, all in with the chips at the poker table. More Hanging with Hennig coming up next. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
Matt Blatt Infinity now open in Egg Harbor Township. Drive the elegant QX60 Pure, just $299 a month. Got a trade? Matt Blatt Infinity wants it. Why settle for less when you can afford luxury with Matt Blatt Infinity? On approved Tier 1 credit, 36 months, $79.95 due, 5,000 miles through IFS, plus tax tag and $689 doc fee. Call 877-289-6670 or go to mattblattinfinity.com for complete details. VIN C333352, QX60 MSRP 52445. Rebates and incentives to dealer and 71325.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Host. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethost.com/terms.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you.
For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text SUMMER to 64,000. That's SUMMER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. SUMMER to 64,000.
Recovering from an addiction is an individual accomplishment. A young mother who chose recovery to care for her family. A high school athlete overcoming opioid addiction. A couple celebrating his recovery. Everyone's recovery is different, and there's no shame in asking for help. Call 844-REACH-NJ. Trained counselors are available 24/7 to help you find the recovery option that's best for you. Tell us your story, and let's begin your recovery today.
Sixers,
and
Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 3 of Hanging with Hennig. Josh Hennig with you on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, Hanging with Hennig is always being brought to you by yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora, South Jersey's best sports bar on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora. Phillies game tonight, 7:35. Fox Television. Well, you know you want to go to yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora to watch the game, whether it's inside with the sound on the broadcast or outside in the yard with the outdoor bar. Wherever you are, yesterday's is where you want to be to watch the Phillies game tonight. Also, we are being brought to you, as always, by Clinic Performance Method in Egg Harbor Township. We are live in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. And don't forget, Boxing Insider Promotions, proud sponsor of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Larry Goldberg's 5th event at Tropicana Atlantic City showroom. Last one in March was a record attendance. You do not want to miss out. Tickets on sale now for the action-packed boxing event of the summer, Friday, July 25th. And joining us less than 25 minutes from now will be one of the fighters, one of the local fighters. We have 3 New Jersey fighters, 2 Philadelphia fighters in action that day. And joining us coming up this hour, Philadelphia's super lightweight Dion Butt, 20-2 record. He has won 10 straight fights. The Temple University graduate will be joining us coming up here on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, you guys can join the conversation. We talk some Eagles, talk some Phillies throughout the show. 609-403-0973. That is the text board. You also can comment on the YouTube stream at Josh Hennig. However you want to tune in, listen to the show, consume it. We appreciate you joining us. Just got to reset some of the conversations we've been having throughout the show. You know, I started the show talking about the Phillies and their inconsistency and how what they have done this year has proven that they need to make a trade at the deadline. But I don't want to overlook what they have done. Because just because Major League Baseball is run by unappreciative idiots doesn't mean that I will not acknowledge the should-be Phillies All-Stars, that being Christopher Sanchez and Ranger Suarez. Now, for those who haven't heard the full story, let me just kind of like bring it to a full circle here, all right? So, this past Sunday, last weekend, when they announced the Major League Baseball All-Star rosters, they did so, and there were only 2 Phillies named. The 2 Phillies, after, that was it. See, we've had injuries, we've had replacements, we've had guys pull out. But since Sunday, Major League Baseball still only has 2 Phillies as of 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon in the All-Star game. Philadelphia has the 5th best record in Major League Baseball. 2 All-Stars. Did you know that on the initial All-Star roster, there were 6 National League teams? 6 with 3 or more All-Stars. Phillies were not one of those 6. Phillies only had 2. Zach Wheeler, Kyle Schwarber. Apparently, the reason why baseball has not picked any more Phillies is because deserving All-Stars, Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, who are both among the best in baseball in numerous categories, Major League Baseball has said, well, you can't pitch in the All-Star game, so we don't want you at the All-Star game. Ignoring the fact that the accomplishment, the designation, the honor of being an All-Star goes far beyond if you can play in the game or not. Now, we can get into a whole argument about if a guy should or shouldn't play, how guys are soft today, blah, blah, blah. I listen, I get it. I've heard all the arguments, whatever. But the truth is, you have a situation where baseball is putting people in the All-Star game and treating the All-Star game like a television show. And they're not treating it like an accomplishment. Major League Baseball players, like players in all sports, get bonuses for individual accomplishments. If you're an All-Star, if you win an award, if you win X number of games, if you finish in the top 10 in ERA, there are all kinds of incentives in these players' contracts. Resume helps you get more money in free agency. Resume helps you extend your career. We give more latitude to a player who is a 5-time All-Star than a player who was a 1-time All-Star. It's just the nature of the world we live in. We give more rope for potential opportunities to people who have already made accomplishments. Well, how do we give people that recognition? We add to their resume of their accomplishments. So the All-Star game is supposed to be a resume builder. It is not meant to be, can you pitch in the game this Sunday? This isn't rec league baseball. This isn't Little League. Hey, Timmy, can you pitch on Sunday? No, I can't, Coach. I already pitched on Friday. Oh, darn. Well, you're not playing on Sunday. Don't show up. That's how baseball is treating these guys. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Christopher Sanchez, just to use him as an example, has a better wins above replacement. He has a better whip, a better ERA than multiple people who were named to the All-Star game. Christopher Sanchez is one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. He has top 5 in wins above replacement, top 5 in ERA, top 10 in quality starts, top 10 in super quality starts. Whatever metric you want to use, this man is an all-star. But we're not putting him in the game, and we're going to call Jake Mizorowski, who's only pitched in 5 major league games his entire life. We're going to put him in the game because he's available to pitch on Tuesday. The fact of baseball is treating a resume-building accomplishment as a rec league baseball game is embarrassing and pathetic. And either the people in Major League Baseball hate the Phillies because why wasn't Kyle Schwarber in the home run derby? Why are there only 2 All-Stars in the game? You know, Trey Turner could be in the All-Star game, but he's not. You know, Trey Turner has the most hits in the National League. You know, he is among the best in stolen bases. He is one of only 12 National League hitters with a there's only 12 National League hitters with a better wins above replacement metric than him. 12. He's not on the All-Star roster. Major League Baseball, according to The Athletic and Fox Sports MLB insider Ken Rosenthal, purposely picked Matt Olson over Trey Turner because they wanted an extra Braves player at the All-Star game, which is being played in Atlanta. Again, we're treating this not like an accomplishment. We are treating All-Star like it is not something to be achieved, and we're treating it like, hey, are you available to play this Sunday? Great. Are you available to play this Sunday? No. I want to see your face again. It's bad enough that Philadelphia sports fans have a team 14 games over 500 with the most flawed roster on the planet. And now baseball cannot acknowledge and treat the men who are among the best in the game and give them the recognition they deserve only because he's not available to pitch on Tuesday. There is nothing more insulting to a sports fan's intelligence than when someone gives an explanation that they are convinced is a good answer, and yet everyone knows it's a load of horse manure. It's like when you're sitting there watching a game with your buddy. Say you're watching the Eagles game. And you all know what the play call should have been. Offense, defense, whatever. Why are they running prevent defense? Why are they running shell coverage? Why aren't they getting pressure on the quarterback? Why are they running the ball instead of throwing, or vice versa? And we all know that the play that was called didn't work. And then you get to the post game, and the coach is asked about it, and the coach gives an explanation, and the coach gives such a explanation with a level of intensity and conviction that they're like, see, people are going to understand when I explain it the way I do. But then you and me who watch the game know. So you're basically just making excuses for a bad call. Instead of baseball coming out and telling us the All-Star game is no longer an achievement that players should get bonuses for. The All-Star game is no longer a resume builder for guys to get bigger contracts, to potentially be in the conversation for the Hall of Fame. It is no longer something to be aspired to. It is now something to be shoulder shrug, like the NFL Pro Bowl. Players only go to the Pro Bowl because they get a free trip with their family to Disney. Back in the day, they would only go because it's a free vacation to Hawaii. No NFL player wants to go to the Pro Bowl. That's insane. Baseball is creating a similar dynamic. What for years has been the best of the All-Star games. The one All-Star game that is closest to the real game that you watch all year. Football, it's a flag football game now. Those guys haven't intensely competed in decades. In the NBA, it's an incomplete farce. They don't even play basketball half the time. They're just throwing up threes and breakaway dunks with no one playing defense. It's not basketball. It's a mediocre and one mixtape. That's what the NBA All-Star Game has become. Hockey has tried to create a dynamic with competitiveness when it comes to the All-Stars. And the Four Nations this year is probably the best attempt they've had in years when it comes to creating a real hockey game for people to watch. And that was must-watch television. USA versus Canada and all of that building up to the final. Baseball is in danger of taking their All-Star game and losing their number one spot. All because is so-and-so available to pitch on Tuesday? Is so-and-so available to play? They are more concerned about the television product. They are more concerned about optics than they are about doing the right thing. Look, if you want to tell me that Ranger Suarez has not pitched enough games this year, fine. If you want to tell me that Ranger Suarez, after his last start, maybe he wasn't as great as he should have been, and maybe that was a demerit against him why he can't be in the All-Star game, fine. But there's no reason why Trey Turner and Christopher Sanchez shouldn't be in the All-Star game. And the only reason I can figure out they're not is because either someone hates the Phillies or Major League Baseball is run by incompetent idiots. I have no other explanation for it than that. Hang with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM. I mean, were you guys even listening, or if you're listening on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle, streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio? Are you telling me that you're going to watch the All-Star game this Tuesday if you're a Phillies fan? Zach Wheeler, by the way, has announced he's not going to pitch in the game. Not even going to go. He wants to use the All-Star break as a time to rest up his arm and hit a reset. Zach Wheeler should and could have been the starter. He decided not to go. Are you even going to watch the All-Star game if you're a Phillies fan? I think there's a lot of Philadelphia Phillies fans who are going to find something else to do on Tuesday night. I think that the MLB All-Star Game, they're really going to try to create a fun and exciting product on the field. And I don't know how many people are actually going to watch the game. If we have learned anything from the last several years when it comes to television and movies and the world post-COVID, where you have 20 million things you can watch any given night, from YouTube to Netflix to Hulu to Disney Plus to Paramount Plus to Amazon Prime to Peacock to, I know I'm forgetting something, but Pluto TV, Tubi, there's a million things to watch. ESPN Plus. Right? You don't have to watch the All-Star game. You can watch the highlights later on YouTube or Twitter or wherever. You don't have to watch the game. You're telling me that there's all these people in Atlanta who are going to watch the All-Star game. That's going to make up for who's not watching in other markets? Do we really believe that people are going to be tuning into the All-Star game saying, oh man, when's Jake Mizorowski going to pitch? Most people don't even know who that guy is. And you know why they don't? Because baseball's problem is not the All-Star game. Baseball's problem is they, like hockey, have done a poor job at marketing their stars for many years. Baseball and hockey have fallen into the trap where they believed for a long time that their fans were there. Their fans will always come back. And then they found out that when some of these teams got bad and when some of these players retired, that people lost interest. And they were not interested in spending an arm and a leg to go to their games. And when the game is on TV, they'll watch it. But if you don't have Apple TV Plus, if you don't have Roku, if you don't have whatever streaming platform it is, you'll watch the highlights later. For example, I have MLB TV and I have YouTube Prime, or whatever it's called, where I don't have YouTube with commercials. I have Apple TV without commercials. So I have MLB TV without commercials. Why would I ever sit through a game that I don't have to with commercials? Why would I sign up for Apple TV Plus or Roku or Amazon Prime if you're a Yankees fan when I can just watch the whole game later? Fast forward through the commercials. Why would I sign up for another streaming service? Baseball has a marketing problem. They are not creating appointment viewing. They are not incentivizing you, the viewer, to stop what you're doing and watch. Especially when they say, let's put Matt Olson in the game because we want to give the Braves fans another one of their guys. And here's Trey Turner. Nope, you're not in. If I'm a Phillies fan, I'm saying I'll watch something else Tuesday night. No Kyle Schwarber home run derby. I'll watch something else Monday night. And don't tell me there's a gazillion Pirate fans tuning in to see O'Neal Cruz or a gazillion Nationals fans tuning in to see James Wood in the home run derby on Monday night. If that's what you believe, I got some swampland in Florida I can sell you at a discount rate. Great property. Waterfront property. Don't mind the bugs. Speaking of appointment viewing, coming up Friday, July 25th, the action-packed boxing event of the summer season will be back at Tropicana Showroom in Atlantic City. Boxing Insider Promotions will bring you the boxing event of the summer season, and one of those boxers, Temple alumni, will be joining us next here on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And we are streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Back with Boxing Talk, Atlantic City, next on 97.3 ESPN.
The 2025 Major League Baseball All-Star Game from Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia.
The stars are going to shine on a stage unlike any other.
Gone home run, Shohei Ohtani.
Mythic feats happen on an almost nightly basis.
A home run for Aaron Judge.
The 2025 Major League Baseball All-Star Game.
Eddie made the catch.
Coverage begins Tuesday at 7 Eastern with first pitch at 8 Eastern.
Listen to Major League Baseball all season on 97.3 ESPN.
Your go-to spot at the Jersey Shore to watch sports is also the Can't Miss Summertime Hangout for live music and great times in South Jersey. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern on Roosevelt Boulevard in Marmora features The Yard, with an outside bar, TVs, and live music on stage every weekend. So bring your friends to cheer on your favorite team, watch the sunset on the back deck, and make new summer memories in The Yard. You can do it all at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to learn about upcoming events and specials all summer long at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit our website, ClemicPerformanceMethod.com.
7 years of fun and play. Go to Ocean Casino Resort for our 7th birthday. Go for the fun times and the tan moms. Go for the biggest acts and the hottest tracks. Hit a jackpot. Take a lucky spin. With over $7 million in prizes, it's time to go for the win. We've cherry-picked 7 new experiences for sizzling summer fun. Make Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City the cherry on top to your summer. Book today at theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Here's Comedians and Sketchers Getting Comfortable, presented by Hands-Free Skechers Slip-In.
Hey, I'm Bobby Slayton, and I'm here with my pal, comedian, and Skechers ambassador, Mr. Howie Mandel.
Why did it take so long to invent something as amazing as slip-ins? I know it seems simple, but it took Skechers to invent a better pair of shoes.
Yep, with Skechers Slip-ins, you just step it and go. You don't have to touch your shoes. And by the way, Slip-ins are for the whole family. Men, women, and kids. In all your favorite Skechers styles, find Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Matt Blatt Infinity in Egg Harbor Township is now open. Indulge in luxury with the Infinity QX80 Sensory, a 102,000 full-size SUV, available now for just $649 a month. Got a trade? Matt Blatt Infinity wants it. Why settle for less when you can afford luxury? Matt Blatt Infinity. On approved Tier 1 credit, 36 months, $79.95 due 5,000 miles through IFS plus tax tag and $689 fee. Call 877-289-6670 or go to mattblattinfinity.com for complete details. VIN R9326645 QX80 MSRP 102,355. Rebates and incentives to dealer N71325.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
For over 135 years, First Bank of Sea Isle City has proudly served Cape May County with a commitment to maintaining a hometown feel. We provide secure, convenient deposit and loan products every day. We're more than just a bank. We're a trusted community partner, offering personalized banking solutions that make life easier for local families of all ages. First Bank of Sea Isle City. Look for our lighthouse in your neighborhood and discover what makes us different.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here streaming live in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios on X and YouTube at Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. We'll get back to your texts in just a bit. Keep them coming in at 609-403-0973. But as promised, he is one of the rising stars in the boxing scene, winner of 10 straight fights. He is the National Boxing Association America's champion at the junior welterweight. He is Philadelphia's super lightweight. Dayon Butt joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. My man, welcome in. How you doing today?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you jumping on. So before we get to anything else, I got to know from you because, you know, I think one of the things people don't understand always about boxers or fighters in general, right? As someone who's covered the sports as long as I have, is you guys typically don't have to do this, right? You know, you could be doing something else. I know that you are, I believe it's a technology risk consultant, right? So
yeah,
you don't have to be going out there, but you choose because you love the sport, right? So talk about what is it about boxing that says, hey, I could do this other job, but the boxing is where my heart is.
One thing about boxing is people think it's an individual sport, which it is to an extent, but you have control of your own destiny. For example, in basketball or football or something, somebody can make a bad play and the game's over, and it can be completely out of your hands. But in boxing, I have to control my whole fate within my hands. So I got to control my own destiny. I got to choose what's going to happen next.
You talk about controlling your destiny. You know, you're someone who has won 10 straight fights. When you're winning these fights, right? Is there a part of you that feels like you're that each fight is building on each one, and that you're getting more and more control of that destiny?
For sure. I feel like right now in my career, I'm right at the brink. I'm right at the door, ready to kick it down. I just got to get these fights rolling, get these wins under my belt, and my time is right there.
You talk about your time is right there. Talk with Dayon Butt. Of course, he is fighting Friday, July 25th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com for the boxing event of the summer season. Your opportunity is right there. When you are on a card like this, where you have a WBC belt being fought that night, when you're on a card with all these other local fighters like yourself, 2 guys from Philadelphia, 3 guys from New Jersey, is there a part of you that looks around and be like, this is what the hard work is all about?
For sure. I'm glad to be able to share the car with some amazing talent from the area. And it's humbly and honoring, So I'm excited to put on a show and showcase my talent. And it'll be on TV on the Zone. So the world gets to see who I really am.
Talk about who you really are. So, I mentioned before, you are a Temple University alumni. This is South Jersey. There's a lot of Temple people in this area. I got a couple people texting me earlier, Temple tough on my text already. So, talk about your experience at Temple and, how that may have, prepared you for what you're doing now.
I'm not going to lie. My time at Temple was pretty easy because we had a lot of those remote classes, but I had a good time at Temple. I was able to network and connect a lot of people and get a lot of my professors and some of my classmates come to my fights. So I was able to expand to a new fan base, I guess you could say, who are outside of boxing a little bit. And then be able to balance like schoolwork and boxing and training and whatnot. That takes a lot of discipline to do. So you got exams coming up and fighting coming up. I remember I fought twice. It happened to me. I fought 1 week my exam week, and then I had another fight the week I graduated too. So it was pretty cool to see how both sides of the world are disciplined.
That balance is important because you're basically developing those habits early on, right? You're developing the habits that, now that you are where you are, 10 straight wins, you say you're knocking on that door. Now it's not about developing the habits. Now it's expanding on the habits, right?
Sure. 100%. You gotta stick with something and work on it and just keep building. It's a foundation. You gotta keep building on the blocks.
What is one of the biggest things for you that boxing has taught you in terms of whether it could be a life lesson, whether it's like a professional, business etiquette? What is something that you have learned that that no matter what happens is going to benefit you for the rest of your life?
Boxing definitely taught me how to be more humble and very disciplined, because it only takes one punch to change everything. And everybody, like Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan to get punched in the face. So it definitely taught me how to be humble and respect the little things and just appreciate life a little bit more, because when you get knocked down, you got to get back up. And boxing definitely teaches you that, how to get back up no matter how many times you get knocked down.
Now, for the average audience listening out there, we got Dayon Butt fighting on July 25th, Tropicana Atlantic City showroom. I mean, when I'm reading off your resume, right, it's, junior welterweight, super lightweight. For the average person, they have no idea what any of these things mean. So let's simplify it for the audience, right? What is the weight that you are most comfortable fighting at right now?
Junior welterweight. So that just means a weight class underneath welterweight, which is 147. So I fight at 140. And I'm going to have to move up to welterweight eventually because I'm pretty big for my weight class already. So I'm a junior welterweight, which is 140 pounds.
Okay, so let's describe it, because you just said, hey, I'm big for my weight class. So, explain to the audience, are you talking about, that the 140 is a tough weight cut for you? Are you talking about, hey, I was 140 for a while, and now I'm growing, my body is developing, and I'm becoming a bigger fighter? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, exactly that. I'm developing my body and putting on more size, and as I'm getting older, you start getting more dense. So, and I'm 6'1", so making 140 pounds is getting a little more difficult, and a lot of the guys I fight no more than 5'8", 5'9", So I have a frame for pretty much a damn near a middleweight, but I can make a 140 kind of comfortably right now. But I could tell it's going to come to a close anyway and move up eventually. So what I mean by a big weight class, I'm big for my weight class. I mean like size-wise, like height and making the cut and whatnot.
So let's say that you're eventually, when you're done doing what you're going to do at 140, you see 147 coming in the near future?
Oh, easily, for sure. I already fought at 147 a couple of times early in my career because it's actually very hard for me to get fights at 140 because of how big I am. So I fought a couple of times at 147, but my true weight class is 140. But now it's getting to that point as I'm getting older that the weight cut's getting a little bit more difficult, and I got to dial in a little bit more. So I could see myself going to 147 very, very soon.
I know in the past, if you look at guys, just to use an example, your Oscar De La Hoyas, your Canelo Alvarez, those guys, they end up going through it seems like 8 to 10 weight classes in your career.
Yeah.
So for you, do you, and I obviously don't know the future literally, but like you just mentioned about your size, your height, do you foresee yourself being someone who ends up competing at maybe like 4 or 5 different weight classes in your career?
I think it all depends on everybody's body is different. I think I could definitely move up 1, 2, 3, maybe possibly 3 weight classes, depending on how my body reacts and how my body grows over time. But I'm not going to rule it out. I definitely can make 147 comfortably, and I even fought at 154 at one point in time. But that was just to take a fight because I couldn't get a fight at 140 nor 147. So it all depends on everybody's body. Everybody's body's different, but I can definitely see myself going up 1, maybe 2 weight classes.
All right, so I got to ask you, because every time I meet a fighter for years now, one of my favorite things to ask is I got to know the story behind the nickname. So what is the story behind Bad Shah?
So Dayan in my language means king, and Bad Shah also means king at the same time. That's like what my family used to call me when I was growing up because I'm the youngest in my family, so I was treated a little bit different than everybody else. So my grandma used to call it to me all the time every time I saw her. So I just stuck with it. It just means king.
So, like, you just mentioned, what it means in that language. Like, what is your background? Tell the folks.
I'm from Pakistan, so it's a bachelor is an Urdu word. So, yeah, I'm from Pakistan.
Okay, so with a Pakistani heritage, like, when did you start looking at boxing? Because, like, a lot of people out there, they might not think of someone with a Pakistani heritage as a boxer,
for sure.
right?
Yeah, for sure. So I always was interested in boxing. I used to fight a lot as a kid. I was like kind of a wild child. And I didn't actually start boxing until like 16, 17. I started pretty late. But my last name is Butt, and I'm from Pakistan. So I was always stuck out like a sore thumb. I had like a target on my back. So everywhere I used to go, people used to try to mess with me, and I don't handle disrespect, so I just had to end it in a certain way. So I just got into a lot of fights, and I eventually was like, no, let me just go to a boxing gym, because I'd rather not just fight people for fun, And then I just stuck with it. I got good at it, and I just stuck with it. I went to national champions, went to Olympic trials, and all that, and I just found my calling. I just felt, what's the word I'm looking for? I just felt at home, There's beauty in violence, if that makes sense. And I just felt comfortable in the boxing ring, in the boxing gym. I just feel like the most the only time I really am myself is when I'm in a boxing gym.
So with that being said, okay, because I'm curious about this because I like to get to know people a little bit. All right, so like if you were to ask me like to name someone who is a Pakistani American, right? I got to be honest, the first person I would name is Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan from Marvel Comics. Like, I can't really, I'm a geek, so I am what I am.
Yeah.
But it's like, what is something that, like, people don't know about Pakistani Americans that, like, you would love to share with people?
They are the most hardworking people you ever come across, both genuine, warm, and, like, they just want everybody to feel comfortable. And, if you meet any Pakistani person, I guarantee the first thing they're going to do is offer you food and drinks and, hey, you can come to my house and eat. Let me cook you some dinner. They're the most nicest people you'll meet on this planet.
And you basically just described the Miss Marvel family. Okay, got it. So
yeah, pretty much.
The depiction is very accurate then, is what I just found out. Okay, got it. Did you ever watch that show?
Yeah, for sure. I like Marvel. I get confused between Marvel and like DC, but I like Marvel.
All right, that's fine. Well, if you ever get confused, let me know. I'm fluid in both. Okay.
Okay, for sure.
So very cool. All right, so Dayon Butt, Friday, July 25th. When people come to Tropicana Atlantic City showroom to see you fight, what are they going to see?
Showstopper, 100%. I'm here to steal a show and put on a performance and just do my thing. At the end of the day, I'm going to do my thing and do what I know what I do best and just put on a performance and just try to bring new fans to me and just get people to know who I really am.
Love it. Well, Dayon, I appreciate you jumping on the phone today. I enjoyed the conversation. We look forward to seeing you fight Friday, July 25th, Tropicana Atlantic City showroom. Before you get out of here, plug the social media.
You can find me on all social media at Real Dayon B. It's Real, my first name, and the letter B. And just tune in July 25th. We're putting on a great performance.
Absolutely. Dayon, appreciate you jumping on. Good luck on Friday, July 25th. We look forward to seeing you fight.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Josh Hennig here in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig, hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. We'll get back to text board coming up next, 609-403-0973. And also still to come, how loyal are Eagle fans? I'll explain why I asked that question coming up next on 97.3 ESPN.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
Beat the heat with a brand new AC system from Broadlee's. Is your unit struggling? Then upgrade now to a Bryant high-efficiency coastal unit, built to handle the heat and salty air. Get 0% financing for 7 years with no money down. Plus, get rebates and tax credits on select systems. Don't wait. Call Broadlee's Plumbing, Heating, and Air today, your local factory authorized Bryant dealer at 609-390-3907 or visit Broadlees.net. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you gotta hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
The summer clearance event is on at Whitehorse RV Center. They're offering serious savings on in-stock 2025s and pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, and motorhomes. There is no better time to gear up and hit the road in your new RV without stretching your budget. But hurry, once the deals are gone, they are gone. Visit Whitehorse RV Center at one of their 2 convenient locations, Williamstown on the Black Horse Pike or Galloway on the White Horse Pike, or shop anytime at whitehorserv.com. Whitehorse RV, your RV adventure starts here.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The seafood, extraordinary. The value, tremendous. The sunsets, on the house. It's Yuri's Waterfront Restaurant. Dine indoors, on the deck overlooking the bay, or watch the game at Sliders Bar with a new baseball-themed sliders menu. Enjoy delicious seafood, including Yuri's famous all-you-can-eat crabs, tropical summer cocktails, and daily specials. Yuri's has a kids menu and an arcade. And next to Yuri's is the Boathouse Restaurant. Two great ways to experience the Jersey Shore's best waterfront dining. Yuri's and the Boathouse at the foot of the bridge in Wildwood.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City. A community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Who is right? You are an ox and a moron.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Hello? Get back in the room.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN. Final segment of the show. Before we get back to text board, texts are there, 609-403-0973. You also can join the show conversation at Josh Hennig on YouTube and at Josh Hennig on the Twitter X platform. We are streaming live in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Before we get to anything else, I said before the break, how loyal are Eagle fans? So we all know Eagle fans are some of the most passionate in the world, right? And for those who didn't see, Ndamukong Suh, he had a cup of coffee with the Eagles. He is retired today from the NFL. So we know the Eagle fans, they show up to Jason Kelsey's charity fundraiser. They showed up to Connor Barwin's charity fundraiser. If there's a former Eagle doing anything, right, Eagle fans always show up. I would argue they're some of the most loyal fans on the planet. But their loyalty will be tested this weekend. Here's why I say that. So the new movie Superman came out in theaters this weekend, all right? I wrote an article about this at 973ESPN.com. David Corn Sweat, he is the actor playing Superman. Diehard Eagle fan. Wears Eagles gear in public. He was publicly known as an Eagles fan before he became famous. Now he's been in other movies too, like the movie Twister. He was in a bunch of different things. You know, you can read my full article. I kind of gave like a quick synopsis of his IMDb profile. But David Corn Sweat, he trained hard for this movie. He is now Superman, and it is one of the most highly anticipated movies of the summer. But the movie industry has been in a weird situation. You know, while the Eagles have won 2 Super Bowl championships in the last 8 years, the movie industry has not been as successful. They've had more losing than winning at the box office in recent years. And before COVID-19, with the lockdowns, you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't go out to the theaters, we have changed our consumption habits. Not just as sports fans, but as entertainment fans. I mentioned earlier in the show about how, why would you go and watch a game you're not interested in when you have 20 other things you can watch? Why watch a game live if you're not interested when you can just catch the highlights later? And in today's world, there's a lot of people who say, I got other things I want to do than go to a movie theater and sit down and watch a movie for 2 hours. So now the movie industry is in this bit of a conundrum, because now, more than ever, like sports, movies are in a situation where consumption habits have changed. How do you create appointment viewing? We had this conversation last week here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Why should you fill in the blank? Anything. Appointment viewing. We just talked with Dayon Butt. Those Boxing Insider events, when he has those local fighters, when Larry Goldberg puts on those fights, those are must-see fights. Those are must-watch events. You got to be there. You got to be in the house. You got to watch the fight, because you know if you don't see it, you're going to miss something. It's appointment viewing. But sports have not always created the appointment viewing dynamic. They have not established the you don't want to miss this vibe. Sports has relied on the fact that they have a diehard fan base, right? Phillies fans, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers. There are those of you out there who will watch no matter what. How do we draw in the intermediate, the casual fan? That's always been the trouble for the sports world. You know, when the Phillies are not good, they're not drawing 40,000. They're drawing 10,000, 15,000 to the ballpark. If the Sixers don't play well, nobody wants to go to the game because it's not necessary to be there. You don't need to be there to watch Justin Edwards. No offense to him. Nobody cares about Quentin Grimes. Sorry. No, they care about Maxey, Embiid, Paul George. The headliners, the big names. That's what draws people in. And it's the same thing with movies and television shows. That's why you're seeing people like Harrison Ford on a streaming television show. That's why you're seeing people like Nicole Kidman on streaming television shows. Because people are realizing that name brand matters. It matters in sports. It matters in movies. And that brings us to the new Superman movie. Historically, superhero movies have banked on the come out and see this popcorn fun event. You might not know who this actor is, but you're going to know him when this is done. Because you're going to come in here and you're going to have fun. You're going to escape the world for 90 to 120 minutes. And you're going to have a blast. And you're going to tell your friends about it. And then they're going to come out and watch it because they're going to have a blast. That's how movies were always sold, made, and promoted, especially when it came to the superhero genre. But in today's world, if you're not a big name, people aren't going out. Deadpool and Wolverine, highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, established names, star power, billions of dollars. This year, a couple superhero movies. Marvel's Captain America Brave New World. Marvel's Thunderbolts. Not major star box office names as the main front man. I mean, Harrison Ford was in Captain America Brave New World. Yeah, there were some actors you might know in Thunderbolts. But both movies underperformed. Why? Because, one, people just are not appointment viewing. People aren't going to the movies like they used to. Just for fun. You can sit at home and watch a movie. Think about it. You go out and get takeout. Go to your favorite restaurant. Whatever. Go get pizza from Zia Nicola, my guy Nick in Seattle City. You want a drink? Go to the liquor store. Go to your favorite local brewery. Pick up a 6-pack. Bring your pizza and your drink home. You want popcorn? Go buy your own at the store. You can sit at home and watch a movie. You don't have to go to the movie theater. People have to be incentivized now to go to movies. And that's where Superman this weekend is a question. Is David Corn Sweat, being such a vocal and passionate Eagles fan his entire life, grew up in the Philadelphia area, went to UPenn at one point. This guy is Philadelphia born and bred. He says he loves the Eagles more than the Phillies. When they asked him to pick between Jason Kelce and Allen Iverson, he said he couldn't choose. When they asked him, what's better, Sheets or Wawa? You know what David Corn Sweat said? I don't even know what Sheets is. Wawa, always. You can go watch the full video of the interview at my article on 973, ESPN.com. This guy is Philly through and through. He says he loves Jalen Hurts. This guy is the Eagle fan of Eagle fans. You want to grab a beer and watch the game with this dude. But are Eagle fans going to support their own at the box office this weekend? Are people, it might rain tomorrow. When it's raining, are you going to stay home? Or are you going to get in your car and go to a movie theater and watch Eagles fan Dave Corn Sweat in the new Superman movie? That's the question. Because historically, Superman movies have been big money makers, even when they weren't good. No offense, Christopher Reeve. May he rest in peace. But Superman 3 and 4, meh. Not great. People still went and watched it. Still made money. Brandon Roth, his Superman 2006, Superman Returns, meh, movie. Not great. People still went and saw it. No one knew who Henry Cavill was before it became Superman. Man of Steel, crazy record, top 50 all-time grossing movie. People went and watched it. But will people watch this? That's my question. Are you Eagle fans loyal enough to leave your house, to leave the beach, to leave whatever activity you're doing this summer, to go to the movie and support one of your own? I think that is going to be the difference between this movie's success and failure. Eagle fans, it's on you. How loyal are you? Are you just loyal to the players? Or are you loyal to each other? I see some of you raising money for people you don't even know who are Eagle fans. Oh, this poor kid. There's a house fire. Man, we're going to raise money. GoFundMe account. He's an Eagles fan. Let's go. Let's pump money in. Now, listen, I haven't seen the Superman movie yet. I'm going to see it this weekend. I'll give you a full synopsis on my YouTube channel at Josh Hennig when it's done, when I watch it. But I'm telling you right now, the success of this movie is going to come down to Eagle fans. David Cornsweet, diehard Eagle fan, trying to explain to his co-stars what a tush push is. It's an absolutely hilarious video. You haven't seen that one, too. That one's funny. I think that interview was with, Variety. I can't keep track of all these entertainment platforms. It's so ridiculous. All right, wrapping up Hennig here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig live in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. Jam-packed show today. Thanks again, day on, but Friday, July 25th, Tropicana Atlantic City showroom, Boxing Insider Promotions. We'll talk with Bruce Selden Jr., Abs Game high school graduate, next Saturday here on 97.3 ESPN. Tickets on sale now for the action-packed event of the summer season. Ticketmaster.com. Record attendance last time. These events get bigger and bigger each time, so you do not want to miss out. Friday, July 25th. Also, thanks as always to my sponsors. Yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora, the best sports bar in South Jersey. Don't forget, Phillies, 7:35 tonight, 4:05 tomorrow. The last two games for the All-Star break. Zach Wheeler tonight. Christopher Sanchez, should be an All-Star, tomorrow. Best place to watch it, yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora. Sound on for the game on the inside, on all the TVs on the back deck, and outside in the yard. Live entertainment all weekend long. Thanks always to Climate Performance Method in Egg Harbor Township as well. Thanks to Ryan Smith for joining us. What a fun conversation it was with him talking about his work with SportsCenter, his Eagles fandom, his thoughts on the Phillies and the Eagles and the Sixers. Big Sixer fan. Kind of feel bad for him. Might have to get him back on the show, talk about the Sixers during the season. And thanks again also to Matt Gelb for joining the show here on 97.3 ESPN. And thanks to all of you for texting in throughout the show. Final thought before we get out of here. The Eagles training camp is less than 2 weeks away. Chargers actually reported training camp today. I think the biggest question for the Eagles with training camp around the corner is this. I think the biggest question with the Eagles has been and will be, and there's no way you convince me otherwise. You can talk to me about the defense losing starters. You can talk to me about who's going to play right guard. You can talk to me about Jalen Hurts. You can talk to me about... None of it matters. One name matters. It's Kevin Patullo. This man has never called plays before. He's never been an offensive coordinator. The last time you put a man in this position, he failed miserably. Will Kevin Patullo succeed where Brian Johnson failed? Will Nick Sirianni get antsy and take control when every time he has taken control of the offense hasn't gone well? That is the biggest question for the Philadelphia Eagles, who were Super Bowl 59 champions. Don't forget about that. I'm Josh Hennig, and this has been Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks to all of you for listening and watching. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Every choice you make matters. Whether you're dining out, grabbing takeout from your favorite local spot, or shopping for that perfect outfit at a neighborhood boutique, you're giving back